What is up, everybody? We have way too fucking much to talk about today. We have way too fucking much to talk about today. What the fuck? I was, yeah, man, holy. Just holy. I was like just at work, and then shit's dropping, and then more shit's dropping, and then more shit's dropping, and what is happening? So we're gonna wait for people to get in here. I have a couple tokens saved up. How many tokens do I got saved up? I have 149 tokens saved up, so we're gonna go turn those in real quick while we give people a second to get in here. And then we're gonna start breaking down everything. We're gonna read all the reviews, we're gonna read all the articles, we're gonna watch the gameplay, we're gonna watch all the info videos, we're gonna watch that trailer probably about 100 fucking times, because it was honestly, and I mean this sincerely, probably the best trailer Bungie has ever done. I can't think of anything. Up to this point, I think the Witch Queen reveal trailer with the Hive having the light, that was probably like my most like epic reveal trailer ever, I think. But I mean, it's not even, this new one blew it out of the water. It was absurd. Yeah, shiny weapons did in fact get buffed, yes. Yeah, we're gonna watch the trailer like 100 times this stream. I'm positive. I just need I need some shiny Edge Transit luck. Oh shit. All right, we want, I'm still going for the Cascade Envious bait and switch just to have. Oh, no! No, are you serious? That, oh my fuck. I got literally everything but bait and switch. Oh, that's so fucking painful. Shit. Okay. That's so painful. We're gonna be farming a lot this week. Because I want that shiny. I want that shiny. Yeah, we're gonna watch the trailer here in a second. Like I said, I just want to give people a couple minutes to get in here. I want to turn in all these tokens. What's up, everybody? I did not get invited to Bungie to play early. I've never been invited to go to Bungie. I got invited to the Destiny 2 reveal event, but that was in LA. That was not in. Okay, so I've used all my tokens. That's fine. We'll do more of this later. Honestly, I don't even think we need the fucking game up right now, so I'm gonna close it. We have so much to cover. So first off, we're gonna watch the launch trailer. And then I saw there were some reviews. So there's like 10 groups of people as well. Like some people got invited to Bungie just to see a couple things, use the exotics. Some people, I saw Destin got to play 6 campaign missions. Like, what the fuck? Some people just got, like, they didn't get to go to Bungie. They just got to, like, a PR pass where they saw someone play, like, the new Strike and watch the first mission. So there's so many things. We're going to be watching all these videos and reading all these articles, and I'll have everything linked every time we watch them. But we have, like, literally infinite content to talk about right now. Why the fuck is this going on? Okay, so first off, I don't know about you guys, but what definitely was not on my bingo card was Bungie murdering a child in the first 10 seconds of the launch trailer. Yeah, Destin is Fireteam chat guy. So we're doing all of it, man. Yeah, I saw that there were 2 Final Shape OST pieces that dropped today, but I heard they also got, like, taken down. So if they're not officially released, I don't want to... If Bungie walked it back, we'll just wait. Rated T? Hasn't Destiny always been rated T? I don't fucking know. No, dude, that child straight up, that child didn't get murdered, just reshaped. That is what a witness apologist would say. That child got fucking murdered, bro. Murdered. I will say the IGN articles felt very spoilery to me. I will say, I read a little bit of it because I had a friend that was texting me about it. That is the only, like, even close to negative thing I've ever seen. And look, Destin, he seems like an all right dude. I will say I've seen some of the more recent Fireteam chat stuff, and it's pretty clear he has not been really keeping up with the game. So that's all I'll say. Like, I'm not trying to, like, you know, take anything away from his review or his opinion or anything, but I haven't really even read the review, so we're going to, and I'll, you know, if it's kind of spoilery, we'll talk about that. But it does seem like his perspective is more of like a returning player, maybe not like more of like a casual returning player, not like a super hardcore thing. At least that's my perspective. So, okay, yeah, that kid's like fucking dead. Okay. 2 of the Final Shape soundtracks got leaked by Sony but got taken down soon after. Yeah, so we'll just wait until the full soundtrack is revealed. I'm not gonna risk anything. Like, I'm already gonna be fucking demonetized because they used Billie Eilish here. So, but anyways, let's do it. Best trailer they've ever put out. I do want to say, I'm gonna try not to pause here, but I really like how they put this kid in the last trailer and to get people like, oh, cute, so cute or whatever, and then they fucking murder him, bro. Brutal. Fucking brutal.
The witness nears the final shape.
It's reshaping reality into a perfect stillness.
So we'll watch it once and then we'll go through and we'll
I'm done burying my friends.
It's the end of everything. Might as well try to stop it.
One last step. Together. Into the end.
This place.
This is so fucking hype.
It's hard to describe. An infection. Festering. You said it spoke to you.
The witness shows us what it thinks we want. It's a lie.
Light bearer. Let us lift the weight of suffering. Join us.
Zavala, please, don't do this.
God, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's brilliant. It is truly a brilliant.
Nobody makes my fate but me.
Brilliant trailer. Oh my god.
I had a dream.
Fuck. God damn, whoever worked on that should be so unbelievably proud of themselves. Every single person, anyone who made any of those cutscenes, anyone who spliced it together like this for the trailer, the marketing team that approved this and made it release today, like, fuck, it is so good, man. It's literally, it's not even close. That is the best Destiny trailer. Fuck me. It is crazy, dude. Okay, so we'll kind of break down some things I saw. Once again, they fucking murder this kid. So kind of like the question I have is like all of these Nightmare Earth sequences, there's 2 ways they could go, right? It's either real or it's like a dream foreshadow, like a Justice League type thing, right? And so I want it to be real and I want there to be like lasting implications after. Like, I don't know how realistic this is, and in fact, it's probably not very realistic at all, but I would love if after the final shape, you know, from the tower, like, things are, like, fucked up. Like, there's remnants of this, right? Like, you're in the tower, and it's kind of fine, but you look off in the distance, and you see, like, the giant cube in the magma, or you're going through, like, the EDZ or the Cosmodrome, and stuff is fucked up. Just small little, like, environmental details, even after the final shape is gone, to be like, look, this had, like, a drastic effect on the world. You know what I mean? That would be sick. That's what I want. Ikor is the type of warlock that tells the hunter to run to well. You know how Shang-Chi was basically just the Riven story, but in the Marvel Universe? They said it makes it look like Zavala's doing the exact same thing that happens in Shang-Chi. That's a really good point, actually. Yeah. That's really funny. I think the first two scenes are linked. A vision showing the final shape and the Mar with the others in the helm. After seeing the vision, she knows the final shape isn't... I hope it's not a vision. Like, I really want this... I want it to be devastating, you know? I was really hoping Lightfall was going to be just devastating and brutal, and like I said at the time leading up to it, I'm sure like everyone did, I'm not going to take original credit for this or whatever, but you know, I really wanted Lightfall to be our Infinity War, where we just fucking lost. And we kind of did, but not really. You know what? We lost, but there was... literally nothing happened. So I really want the beginning of this to feel like devastating, you know? That's what I want. I mean, what a visual, dude. Someone on the Bungie team's got some arm fetish going on, and thank you for that. Like, holy, it looks sick, bro. Scarrow, just because it shows her, it's like she had her hand out and being pulled back from seeing the vision and the scene before, and then knows the final shape is near. This is what a cool little...
I had a dream.
The witness.
I don't really know if those are connected, to be honest. It's hard to say. I mean, this DLC is gonna have a billion fucking cutscenes, man. It is unbelievable how many different cutscenes we've seen, and you know, it's probably gonna be like 2 or 3 linked together, but they're like, oh my god, holy.
Smears the final shape.
It might have been a nightmare.
It's reshaping reality into a...
So this is sick. This is as others have pointed out, probably the Witness giving Zavala a vision of the Traveler. So I think a big part of the Final Shape campaign is the Witness, you know, trying to convince Zavala to join. Zavala is like our leader. If Zavala joins the Witness, it's likely that we all join the Witness, and we all become a hive mind and become the Final Shape. That's like the end goal, right? And so this is the Witness being like, look, the Traveler fucking sucks, dude. You know, and so you can see it leaving Fundament, or not Fundament, do we know the name of the Witness's planet? The Witness's home planet in the background, and then we get a better look at it in the couple seconds. But this is the Traveler like, fucking yeet, goodbye.
Stillness.
And so, like, this is what I'm talking about. So this is probably Earth. I guess it could be the Traveler, or the Witness's planet as well, but I want this. I want this to have actually happened, you know? And just to have lasting effects. You know, like when you get to the end of a Minecraft world, the, what do they call it? Like the Outer Realms or the Nether Realms, or not the Nether Realms. I think it's called the Outer Worlds or the Outer Realms or whatever. And like generation is just super fucked up. I want that to happen. I want this to have a lasting effect on the skybox. When we're flying into Earth after the final shape, I want it to fucking look like this. Yeah, the Far Lands, thank you. I want it to look like this. I think it is probably just a vision, but I really hope it's not just a vision. Or if it's not a vision, I bet the Traveler will put everything back together or whatever. But I like, more than anything, this is the biggest thing that's ever happened in the Destiny universe, and I think we should feel and see those repercussions forever, personally. So...
I'm done. burying my friends.
And no one's shouting out the cameo of the real goat here. The R146C crate, been with us since the beginning, our homie.
End of everything. Might as well try to stop it.
One last step. Together. Into the end.
Okay, so here. So it shows us standing in the Traveler portal. This is like the first thing we see when we land. Very cool. Shows Crow. Maybe like this is actually really interesting. Because this is way too big to be the last city, right? Excuse me. And the Traveler's gone. It's like way up in the sky. So I'm not really sure what this is. This might be like the end of the campaign or something. Traveler comes down and like and fixes everything or whatever. That's probably, you can see it like pulsing here. That's probably what that is. And then this is Zavala watching, like this is the Witness's civilization, right? So he had just watched the Traveler leave. You can see the pyramid ship. This is like the Witness about to go do shit, so.
This place.
It's hard to
So
describe.
good. This is the strike. We already know this is the strike. We've seen a little bit of this cutscene with the ghost. It seems like there will be a cutscene focusing exclusively on the ghost. We've seen the ghost dead in the Vault of Glass, or really beat up in the Vault of Glass. So it'll probably be that.
Festering.
And then yeah, we get like more of these decaying, like Zavala I don't think Zavala actually dies. I feel like that's like, it's too obvious, you know?
You said it spoke to you.
This is interesting because I thought so this is the winnower, 100%, right? Or some representation of the winnower. It's probably, this is part of that same cutscene. Zavala watches the Traveler leave and then like turns around. What's in the foreground here? Yeah, as the Traveler is leaving, he like gets distracted by the winnower. And I thought the winnower was holding a shard of the Traveler, but it's just a shard of glass, actually.
The Witness shows us what it...
And this has got to be at the very end. This is like, we get to the spire, we're going to go confront it. Or maybe it's at the beginning, but I don't know. I cannot help but feel that Zavala is going to be the final boss. And this is so stupid and predictable, and I probably sound like an idiot. Like, I'm going to watch this in 2 weeks and be like, what the fuck were you talking about? But this really gives me vibes like, oh, you know, like Shiro-Chi or Kali vibes. Like, oh, Zavala is the final boss of the campaign. Whoa. Whoa. Someone has to die, though, right? I think the Witness and Cayde are big. Well, Cayde can't really die because he's the vendor. But, you know, Cayde he's going to be, like, limited to this area. Cayde isn't really alive, you know?
Us what it thinks we want.
I've got to say, I love, like, the psychological horror. I didn't expect this at all. Like, all of the other trailers have had some kind of weird shit to them. This is the first time where I've been like, oh, holy shit, this is dark, you know?
It's a lie.
So, and there is a cutscene. It is worth noting there is a cutscene where we get eaten by the darkness. I don't remember where it was in the Final Shape reveal trailer. That might be in the Final Shape reveal trailer. Where we get eaten by... No! I did not want to watch Dado's video yet. We are going to watch Dado's videos. I think we get eaten by the goop. Yeah, so this is going to be more of that... it looks like there's going to be like a single cutscene really focused on the ghost just getting shit on. So it's like resurrects us, and then it's like fighting, and then dying, and then or whatever. The ghost gets absolutely fucked up in this DLC, is what I'm saying.
After all these years, we never talked about it.
In this cutscene, how there's 3, because this guy doesn't die, right? They actually go in. I bet this cutscene is us, and then Zavala and Ikora.
We never talked about it.
Because we already see Zavala and Ikora in the new trailer doing something similar, right? So.
Why you were chosen.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is part of that. I think if it's still something, it's gonna be part of that ghost cutscene. The ghost gets absolutely fucked up here, man. Like resurrects us, but it's looking real bad. And then I think they show it dead in the sand at some point too.
I didn't know then.
Oh, I forgot that all of this is like literally the ghost's fault. That's a really good point. I totally forgot about that.
Just a feeling. But I know now. After all we've seen.
Yeah, I don't know if actually thinking about it, I don't know how much of this is actually gonna be in game. A lot of this seems very cinematic, but for marketing. Like this, I don't think this is not gonna be in the game.
All we've lost.
This will be in the game. This looks in the game type of stuff.
This fight might be our last.
But this is all marketing material.
So I'm asking you.
The reveal trailers never have stuff in the game? No, surely that's not true. Is it? I don't know. Anyways, this is what I was talking about.
Last time.
This seems very in-game cutscene to me.
To rise.
But maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. All these cutscenes are fucking unbelievable.
Let us lift the weight of suffering.
This is crazy.
Join us.
The whole there's like one frame where Zavala gets like fucking.
Zavala, please, don't do this.
Oh, that's insane, bro. The fuck is this? This is Destiny, by the way. That's terrifying. And this is sick, bro. Like a Scorn Abomination looking fucker. So it looks like Cayde and there's gonna be a cutscene. I hope this is a boss so badly. I want for this to be a real boss. But it looks like Cayde and Uldren have sort of like a recreation of that Scorn prison break scene, but they're together this time. And like, this is like in Spider-Man No Way Home when Andrew Garfield actually saves MJ versus when he let Gwen die. You know, that's what this is. Crow saving Cayde. But like that scene where Uldren's walking with the golden gun, I'm pretty sure that's like almost like frame for frame. I think Cayde had a shot exactly like that and when he like right before he died. I think he was like walking forward like that. Forsaken prison break scene. Cutscene. If I'm not mistaken, I swear Cayde has a clip exactly like that. Wait, what? Why are you starting with this? Oh, here it is.
Sorry, not so.
I think he pops Golden Gun here. I see you guys saying Red War. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. What a good cutscene. Fuck. Because he does... Oh, that's right. Because he gets pulled out a Golden Gun right there. I forgot that's what happened. All right. So it's in the Red War. Okay. This is... Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, wait. What was that? Were those Scorn? No. So this scene is going to be insane with Crow and Cayde fighting together. Man's just straight up using the fucking force right here to stop someone from leaving. By the way, look, he's straight up like, you see that? He's like, no, you cannot leave. That's the helm. Oh, this is the helm? Oh shit, helm's fucked. Yeah, pulling the Star Killer for sure.
Nobody makes my fate but me.
And then, yeah, everyone's been pointing out this scene, the final fucking battle scene, our end game scene with the Cabal, the Guardians, and the Fallen. And then like you can see the armies right here. This is I'm gonna say this right now. I would bet a lot of money that this is a cutscene that we get after we beat the Witness in the raid, right before like that final mission. I bet this is like the lead up to the final mission. It's like we kill the Witness, or we beat whatever the final boss is. We beat the Witness in the raid. This cutscene plays, and then we go kick his ass. Check my DMs. I'm not fucking watching this, Lab. And this is awesome.
I had a dream.
So good. Lab, brother. Does this have anything to do with Destiny 2? Anyway, so fucking good. Yes, it does. Oh my fucking.
Can you believe it, guys?
Lab, I swear to God. All right, Lab sent me this. If this is bad, Lab is getting banned, okay?
Can you believe it, guys?
The Witness?
Just a week away.
The Witness?
It's in a week. Woohoo! I am so happy about this information.
The Witness?
Just a week away. Oh, wow. Can you believe it?
The Witness?
Just in a week. It got here so fast.
The Witness?
Just a...
Can I ban him anyways, even though that was good? The Witness? Oh, fuck. That was really good. I'm pretty bummed out that was good. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. What are we looking at first? Do we want to read the articles? Do we want to read the review? Do we want to watch videos? If anyone has watched or read multiple things, what is the most interesting thing? What should we watch first? Dado first. What's Cayde? Dado has played with the new exotics, and he played with Prismatic early. Okay, we'll watch. I watched the exotic ones. I have not watched the Prismatic one. So what I'm gonna do, I obviously please everyone go give him a view. Click on it, watch it a couple seconds, and then we'll watch this together. I don't want to steal his anything. I'm sure these videos are gonna do fucking bigger numbers than anything I've ever even dreamed of. But let's watch this and talk about it.
Hello everyone, I went to Bungie to play some Final Shape stuff early. I've talked about exotic weapons, I've talked about exotic armor, and now I want to talk about most of the other things.
Is the audio good?
Specifically Prismatic and the new activity. I have 2 videos
The volume.
already live. Please go check them out after this one or before this one. I really don't care what order you want to watch them in.
Fallout's good. Great. Okay, we'll watch Fallout after this. Oh, it's echoey? That's my bad. Sorry.
Legendary weapons, or the rolls that come on some of these weapons. I didn't think it was super
important. Is that still echoey?
I didn't try out the heal gun. I'm sorry.
Is there a buzz for you guys when I'm not talking? Oh, it looks like my mic shit up. I fucking... 1 second. Okay. Hello? Okay, is that bad? Can you hear me? Is my voice cutting out? If I whisper like this, is my voice cutting out? Can you still hear me like this? Or is it too quiet? Is it okay? You hear me? Okay. Cool. Perfect. Okay. So I think I fixed it.
We were really pressed for time and we weren't playing in a group that often. I'm also not talking about any of the story at all in terms of like
so there should not be an echo anymore.
Elements, mainly because they don't want us to, but also
oh fuck, I wasn't paying attention. I was my bad.
Activity. I have 2 videos already live. Please go check them out after this one or
He does not have 2 videos already live.
Before this one. I really don't care what order you want to watch them in. What I'm not going to be talking about in this video is legendary weapons or the roles that come on some of these weapons. I didn't think it was super important.
He does have 2 other videos live. I'm an idiot.
I'm sorry. We
my
were
bad.
Really pressed for time and we weren't playing that often. I'm also not talking about any of the story at all in terms of like actual plot elements, mainly because they don't want us to, but also because I literally don't know anything outside of the first mission because I turned off dialogue and subtitles. So don't worry about that. When I was at Bungie, I was allowed to play some parts of the legendary campaign. Again, dialogue, subtitles off. But I did actually play some gameplay, and I played with Prismatic on dialogue and subtitles. So don't worry about that.
Sorry.
When I was at Bungie, I was allowed to play some parts of the legendary campaign. Again, dialogue.
I'm really confused why Destin was allowed to play 5-6 missions.
Subtitles off. But I did actually play some gameplay, and I played with Prismatic on all of the classes, although only on
oh, those are patrols. That's sick.
Campaign. And I know I like to joke around that Destiny has become a very easy game if you know how to do an ounce of build crafting. But Prismatic feels like it takes it to another level of easy.
Bro, the Song of Flame logo is absurdly cool. What the fuck?
That I did not think possible. So let's quickly go over Prismatic in case you haven't seen or heard anything about it just yet. You're going to get access to specific parts of other subclasses within the Prismatic subclass itself. And
so that's what I'm confused about, because Destin explicitly mentions in his article that he played with these guys. So I don't really understand. And like Paul Tassi and every oh my god, how am I forgetting names? I feel so bad. Give me a sec. Let me get my fucking sorry, I was fucking Andy from Bungie replied to me and I read it and it was I shouldn't have laughed, but I did. A couple journalists. Yeah, Ryan Gilliam, Paul Tassi, like I don't think any of them got to play 6. I don't really understand.
Is to combine all of these different choices into one cohesive setup.
Do we want to read all of these? Or is that too much? Facet of... Oh, thank you for the sub, by the way. Hey, if you're new here, make sure to sub. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers. Love your face. Defeating targets with kinetic weapons grants you bonus Transcendence weapon... or energy, excuse me. Defeating targets with your super grants you and nearby allies bonus Transcendence energy. This is cool. Minus 10 resil. It's kind of steep. But that is... it's going to be sick. I'm going to call this Khostov the fragment. Okay? They played mission 1 and 5 only? Oh, that is not how I interpreted what Destin said. But I only read like a couple sentences. Cerberus the fragment, yeah.
Specific parts of other subclasses within the...
Facet of Sacrifice. While you have an Arc, Solar, or Void buff, ability Final Blows grants bonus Darkness Transcendent energy. So I'm wondering... So keep in mind, I think to get darkness, you have to get kills with darkness stuff. So use your light stuff to buff then your dark abilities as well. It won't come from your light abilities.
And the goal is to
defeating targets afflicted with stasis or strand debuffs grants bonus light. So it's kind of the opposite.
All of these different choices into one.
Oh shit, dude. Defeating targets while Transcendent creates orbs of power. This is going to be really powerful because a lot of the new exotics really revolve around getting orbs of power. Also, more supers is never a bad thing. Also, surges. So,
cohesive
facet of justice. While Transcendent, your ability final blows explode.
setup. You also have
collecting an elemental tangle or elemental pickup or destroying a tangle grants Transcendence energy of the same type. It's kind of
access to the Transcendence mechanic, where you fill a light and dark meter.
While you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. There could be some pretty interesting buffs for that, or builds for that.
And when you do, you can go Transcendent, which gives you a lot of bonus power. And
I'm not even listening to what he is saying, and I feel bad. Your Arc, Solar, and Void abilities deal increased damage to targets afflicted with darkness debuffs. So this is interesting because you don't have to be the person to apply it. So this could create... I think Prismatic's really cool because it's not only your own synergy, it really does like have a lot of team synergy as well. If you can really... Like, speedrunners, low manners are going to have a field day with shit like this.
A unique grenade.
Why the Red Death redesign? Because people always bitch about reskins. They're like, fuck it, let's show you a reskin, bro. Same thing, the opposite of what we just said.
This light and dark meter is done by doing light.
This is a cool one. Rapidly defeating targets with light damage grants melee energy. Rapidly defeating targets with darkness damage grants grenade energy.
Or dark damage.
This was Destin's claim about how much of the campaign he played. To preface this part, I didn't get to play the entire story, but I did play a very large chunk of the campaign, stopping just short of the 7th finale mission. Yeah, and so we know it's 7th mission, raid, and then some sort of 8th mission or something after the raid. That's pretty much been confirmed. So, I mean, but that's still 75% of the campaign he got to play.
So, Arc, Solar.
Facet of Bravery, defeating targets with grenade final blows grants volatile rounds to your void weapons. Defeating targets with powered melee grants unraveling rounds. So that's pretty powerful as well if you can get a good little... I'm excited to see all the different, like, combinations they come up with here. We know for a fact, I don't know if Dado's going to go over all of them. We know for a fact that there is a Stasis Solar one. It's probably just going to be the 3 combinations of the grenades, right? So we know there's a... I think the 3 combinations are Stasis Solar Grenade, and then Void Strands. I don't remember what the other one is. Stasis Arc? That feels wrong. I don't remember what the... Can someone list the 3? Is it... Oh, Strand Arc. Oh, yes, because it's like a tornado. That's right. No, it's a fire tornado. I don't fucking remember. Strand Arc, Stasis Void. Wait, Stasis Void. So this isn't. Okay.
Light, Stasis, and Strand for dark.
It's a lot, man. There's a lot. There's fucking holy shit. Awakening, rapidly defeating targets with light or darkness damage or super final blows generates an elemental pickup of the matching damage type. This could be pretty interesting, actually. And plus 10 resil. I could see this being really... I'm trying to think like where elemental pickup... Now that you can use orbs of power to do the same thing as elemental pickups, it's not as... But, yeah.
Dark or kinetic for a little bit of both.
Freezing or suppressing a target reloads your equipped weapons and increases weapon stability, aim assist, airborne effectiveness. I mean, this is going to be like fucking PvP central, right? Defeating frozen or suppressed targets creates a stasis shard or void breach.
You're going to have access to quite a lot of fragments as well, all with their own unique effects. And
wait, did he go over it? Was that the one I just read? He barely goes over Facet of Dawn there.
As well.
Powered melee hits against targets makes you radiant. Powered melee final blows make you and your nearby allies radiant. So we already pretty much have that one.
All with their own unique effects.
Faceted protection while surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. So we're getting into the first half of these were kind of like newish ones. These are all like adopted existing ones. It looks like.
Plenty of theory.
which I think we kind of knew from the breakdown, but not entirely. Melee final blows start health regeneration, while Transcendent melee final blows start health regeneration for you and your nearby enemies.
To be done here. I have a quick
I did not
build
get to
that I
play
came up
now.
with at the event that
Picking up an orbit power grants either amplified, restoration, frost armor, woven mail, or overshield.
we're going to show as an example here for what it's going to be like to
Grenade final blows cure you. Transcendence grenade final blows increase the strength of this effect. I mean, that's fucking sick.
with Prismatic.
Finishers create a detonation that either jolts, scorches, slows, severs, or makes targets volatile, depending on your super.
Part of why I'm excited for Prismatic.
I just fucking love when they list like 12 things. That makes me really happy. Faceted Solitude. Landing rapid precision hits emits a severing blast from the target, so this one already exists.
It feels like the build crafting space.
Facet of a Ruin increases size and damage of a... Yeah, so this one's going to be like... Conditional Finality Central, man. Increases the size and damage of the burst when you shatter a stasis crystal or frozen target. And increases the area of effect with solar ignitions. One thing, Wobby, I did not even think. Wobby, brother. We're theory crafting on main right now. We were already talking about how crazy Stasis Hunter is going to be. That doesn't include this, right? Something to keep in mind. This is going to be sick.
Is just going to absolutely
Faceted Dominance. Your Void Grenade weakens. This exists. Your Arc Grenade jolts targets. So.
explode.
Okay, now I'm going to rewind like 15 seconds because I was not listening to his ass.
Or kinetic for a little. When you do these different choices into one cohesive.
No. I know Stasis Hunter has that, but the numbers we saw, I don't think included that.
Setup. You also have access to the Transcendence mechanic, where you fill a light and dark.
Or is that an existing fragment, and we're just assuming it has the same buff?
Meter, and when you do, you can go Transcendent, which gives you a lot of bonus power and a unique grenade. Filling this light and dark meter is done by doing light or dark damage. So Arc Solar Void for light, Stasis and Strand for dark, or Kinetic for a little bit of
Okay,
both.
yeah.
You're going to have access to quite a lot of fragments as well, all with their own unique effects, and there is plenty of theory crafting to be done here. I have a quick build that I
This cut, or this, picture, what would you call this? The Guardian looks sick.
came up with at the event that we're going to show as an example here for what it's going to be like to build with Prismatic. Part of why I'm excited for Prismatic is because it feels like the build crafting space is just going to absolutely explode.
Splash art,
all the
thank
different
you.
Abilities and aspects and fragments, exotic class items. It was tough for me to really wrap
Wait, do they have different ones?
my head around how much stuff there is to do with a
No,
Prismatic
wait, that's the
subclass.
same.
I
All
started
fragments should be the exact
my
same,
exotic
right?
class item, which is only active when you have Prismatic equipped, which is something I feel like I might have glossed over when first discussing.
Yeah, I thought fragments were
exotic
always
class
the same
items, so
now.
I just really wanted to reiterate
I don't know why I was
exotic class items
doing it.
only work if you have Prismatic equipped. I didn't have time to sit and think about the best setup for very long, so I just went with
Ooh. Solipsism.
something that sounded neat in the moment. Osmiomancy and Starfire on my
Oh, go down to
class.
appearance. Go down to appearance.
Grenades recharge from empowered weapon damage.
Go down
upon
to
blows,
appearance.
And Osmiomancy gives
Dado!
you more grenade energy on
Fuck!
hits in addition to the cold
Did anyone say if you could transmog them?
snap benefits. I put on Cold Snap Grenade and Empowering Rift to start, and then I rounded out the kit based on that. Feed the Void for Devour, more grenade energy, the new Solar Asp.
You definitely need to check out more Console's video after this. He has footage and gameplay things that aren't in other
some
videos.
Solar
Will
Buddy,
do.
And then some fragments. Facet of Devotion. Killing targets hit with a Stasis or Strand debuff gives light Transcendence energy. Hope. Collecting or destroying an
I've said it like 100 times, but I am unbelievably excited for Song of Flame.
elemental pickup gives Transcendence energy of that type.
Is he's just going through his build. I'm more
Balance,
interested in the
rapid
gameplay,
light defeats,
personally,
gives melee
right
energy,
now.
rapid dark
But
defeats,
I think, like,
grenade energy.
I just
Dawn,
look how fast the Hellion is shooting. I'm so convinced the super is going to be ridiculous.
powered melee hits gave me radiant.
I'm so
and
convinced.
Final blows make allies radiant. That's why I have arcane needle.
I want to
on.
see some damage numbers. Pop your super
Orbs of
data.
power
Let me
gives
see some
an
damage
effect
numbers.
based on my super equipped. In this case, it's the new super Song of Flame.
Plant luminescent
The goal
seed.
of my build is simple. Throw cold
It looks like that's a
snaps
patrol
as
too.
often as possible while staying buffed with as many things as possible. And in patrol, yeah, it works pretty well. Not really too much of a challenge, but there is a meta goal of Prismatic, and that's to maximize how much you're able to go Transcendent. Transcendent is basically like having a second super. It's like Diet Super. The Warlock Grenade is a Void Stasis Grenade, Black Hole Grenade with slowing features that implodes, suppressing targets, and dealing damage. And while Transcendent, you're buffed even more. Melee damage regens your grenade, and vice versa.
Oh, I don't think we knew that's how it worked. I think when they revealed it, they just said increased ability regen. Skill. Oh, did Skill Up? Does he have a video out too, or did he just do a Twitter thread?
Kills extend Transcendence.
I want to read that too.
Weapon damage goes up. You get damage resistance. Like, I cannot begin to describe how good it is and how quickly you can charge it if you are playing into Prismatic. How you should be. How should you be? If there's one thing you need to do.
Oh, a 30-minute video? That's a lot.
To play Prismatic to the maximum, it's just make sure that you're dealing damage with alternating light and dark damage.
Oh, I'm so excited
That's
for this.
it.
Oh, I'm so excited for this. Oh, he's Transcendent. Look. Okay, he did the thing I was wondering about.
How you should be.
So he's currently Transcendent right now.
Should you be? If there's one thing you need to do to play
I've been asking this question for weeks.
Prismatic to the maximum, it's just make sure that you're dealing damage with alternating light.
So when you are Transcendent with Song of Flame and you pop both, the Song of Flame grenade wins. Does the Song of Flame grenade still give you ability? Yes.
Damage.
It looks like it still gives you the increased ability stuff too, and it still refreshes your Transcendence as well.
Say, but if there is something that I want to drill into people's heads, it's use both elements as equally as you possibly can, and use your fragments to juice your Transcendence. That's why kinetics are going to have some added.
I'm so excited for this.
Value. They charge both at a reduced rate.
And he somewhat heavily spoils the first mission. If he spoils anything, we're not reading it. Or we're not watching it.
A fragment to buff that.
Okay, yeah, we're not going to watch it then. Thank you for the heads up.
Over a minute to charge Transcendence, and this was with me.
I've got a week to go. I'm not going to get spoiled with a week left. You know what I mean?
In trying to recharge it. A minute! Imagine when you're actually trying. Better Devils, Strand, Indebted Kindness, Arc. I'm just alternating. I'm flip-flopping. My abilities, I'm a little heavy into Darkness. Probably could have balanced that a little bit better. But I had the Fragment to juice me with Darkness debuffed kills. Then you go Transcendent, and you just alternate your abilities, and you go for such a long time.
It's got to be so stressful at one of these events. I hope to find out one day. Bungie, please. Please, Bungie. Bungie, please. Because, you know, they probably have a couple hours to try out everything. And, like, as a content creator, he's like, okay, I have to really fucking try out Prismatic. I have to get a good idea of what all the exotics do. I have to play the missions. You have just so much information that you have to try to capture as efficiently as possible. Fuck, that's got to be the most stressful thing ever. They had 12 hours for 2 days. Even, like, then imagine combing through all of that. Oh, my God. Oh, Scope said he played 12 hours for 2 days. Oh, my God. Are you in the crowd expecting a Destiny 3? Destiny 3 will happen at some point, for sure.
Grenade, melee, grenade comes back. Use it to get your melee back. Use it to get your grenade back. As long as there are enemies there, you will be Transcendent for a very long time. Again, I will reiterate,
fucking
I'm in a patrol zone. I realize that. But I had a similar experience in the campaign with my Titan. My Titan got to play in the Legend campaign with Prismatic. I played with what the game will be giving you when you first access Prismatic. My build was a point contact cannon brace build, which just, you know, gives your thunderclap extra oomph, which Prismatic does get. And then I just equipped the default Prismatic subclass that you get.
I really like one thing that he doesn't really talk about here. I don't know, maybe he will. I really like that this event seems to have like a lot of variation going on.
Other changes.
I think that's cool.
And I, in my team of 2, I got to play with Skill Up, love you, bud, proceeded to completely annihilate the Legend campaign without any resistance. I wasn't allowed to record the stuff that I'm talking about right now, so you're really only going to get to see me on patrol, or maybe I'm showing the first mission, which I don't have Prismatic in. It's not going to give the best representation of what I'm talking about, is what I'm trying to say. It's just all I got. The Titan Transcendence Grenade suspends and jolts targets. This combo ended up being insanely strong.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, right?
To the point
so, like, I'm
I'm
totally the type of person, as I was scrubbing through my footage, I would feel so bad. Like, when I realized I didn't record any Titan, I would just be distraught. You know what I mean?
wiping out entire groups of spawning in enemies when I had Transcendence active. Throw grenade, everything gets suspended, go in for a big thunderclap, everything dies. On Legend, rinse, repeat.
Bungie has not said officially that Destiny 3 is not happening.
This is also giving me back energy.
That is incorrect.
As I'm doing it. Every kind. Pick one. Name it. I'm getting it. We were trouncing the campaign. If you can figure out how Prismatic works, in which I just kind of told you how it works, I'm telling you, we need Grand Master campaign. We were just crushing it. It was not even fair.
Whoa.
I will say that as a
so this is super interesting. That's so interesting because even like me and my teammates have been talking about Prismatic. And before you get like and I guess they have some access to some of the class items and stuff here. But you know, we were really talking about how like it seems like you'll really have to go pretty hard to get a really good build. And to make it better. Like at base, if you just hop on Prismatic, it seems like it'll be worse than a fully spec'd out 3.0. But once you take the time to farm shit out for Prismatic and really spec it out, then it would be better. But Dado's making it sound a lot easier to jump in. That's genuinely very interesting information.
Solo, the campaign will still likely be the challenge experience that you're looking for on Legend. It was definitely tougher than being in a group because you just have no one else to rely on. There's no residents.
This thing's kind of melted, by the way. I know it's patrol, but
Transcendence, just to me anyway, trivialized the experience in a group. And I did relay this feedback to Bungie already while I was there.
It's really interesting that it's so... What is that black bar on the top left?
It's part of why I like the Legend campaign.
I don't think he was allowed to... Wait, what is that?
Already while I was there, because part of why I like the Legend campaign.
Maybe that's just a fragment or something, like a data loss, or spoilers. Oh yeah, maybe it was a map. Yeah. Do names pop up in? I know like names of areas pop up in Crucible. Does that happen in PvE? Yo, be more. Thank you so much for the sub. Okay. Yes, it does. Okay, yeah. Then it's hiding something spoilery for sure. Yeah, wow. Okay, this looks sick.
It actually provided some pushback versus regular campaigns. My peers had a bit of a different experience on Hunter because Hunter's Transcendence Grenade functions like a trip mine. So it's not as simple to use as the Titan one or even the Warlock one. I can see how their experience might have been different after I played on a Hunter for a little bit in Patrol as things...
Dado confirms it. Warlock, Prismatic Warlock on top, baby. Also, the debuff you get from the fucking space bats is called tinnitus. That's awesome shit, bro.
Things like trip mine and lightning grenade.
Yeah, I saw the destination mod thing, yeah.
Commonly used PvE grenade, at least when you can't stick them to enemies. Hunter grenade, Transcendence grenade, I believe you can stick to enemies though, so like, you know, aim precisely. In terms of the new supers, I used them for a little bit. I don't think I have a ton of gameplay recorded with them. Void Titans, Twilight Arsenal.
That was like 3 years ago, Renzier. That also saying Bungie confirmed no Destiny 3 and saying that there were no plans for Destiny 3 in the foreseeable future are quite literally not the same thing.
get to use are pretty cool, or you can just use them all yourself and just immediately chuck them or do some kind of light chip damage.
But once again, that was many
without
years ago.
any sort of
At least a
damage
couple. That might have been
testing,
around
that's
Witch
all
Queen, but
can
I
really
believe
do
it was
in
even
terms
further
of
back than that.
Perspective, same kind of feedback goes for Warlock and Hunter. I need a lot more perspective on the supers in
Bruh, pick it
harder
up.
content before I can give any sort of a true analysis. I didn't really go to this event to sit there and harder content before I can give any sort of a
Collectible. It's a fucking collectible. It looks like a feather, maybe a feather of one of the bird, of the traveler bird. Collectible.
true analysis. I didn't really go to this event to like sit there and crunch numbers about like how much does Song of Flame do when I
Their feathers, yes, okay.
That wasn't what I sought out to do. Maybe other people did that. I don't know, but it's not what I did.
I love that they're bringing the light hive into this, by the way. I don't really know how they fit thematically, but I'm glad they're in here.
Overthrow, which is the new activity in...
Yeah, we're not going to watch Skelp's video because I've been told that there are spoilers.
So first thing, Pale Heart is a completely solo destination unless you queue into specific parts of the patrol area via the Overthrow map icon. Otherwise, you are not going to see randoms pop in at all.
Whoa. Whoa, that's crazy. They really want you to feel like super isolated. That's a crazy detail.
At first, when I heard that Overthrow was a public event style activity, I was like, oh boy, I don't know if people are going to be too happy about that, thinking back to like the Season 10 era. Here's how it works. You need 1,000 points to progress. Encounter completions give 450 points. Kills on enemies give a very small amount. Chests give a little bit. HVTs give some points. But essentially, it's going to come down to do 2 encounters to get the bulk of your points.
Yeah, that's why they didn't make it hard like New Muna, right? Because you're going to be alone most of the time. I love that. That's like, it's really clear to me. I don't know why they didn't lead with this. It's so weird. We had no idea. I thought the final shape was going to be standard bad guy. You load in, you overcome some adversity, you kill him. But with all of the information that we got today, it's pretty clear they're going for like a psychological horror thing here. Like all the cutscenes, extra limbs, darkness, goop, all of that. You are quite literally isolated in the play space. Like they are really going for some like trauma shit here, man. That's awesome.
With kills and other miscellaneous stuff.
Not the fact that they're trying to give us trauma. Like that's... But like
kind of rounding it out. You go to stage 2, it's the same thing, 1,000 points.
That's what I got,
Stage 3, new encounters, and then a boss stage that is...
Does anyone explain the orange eyes on the Taken?
That you are in. Each zone has its own set of encounters.
No, I'm glad it's not power limited if you're alone most of the time.
I'm not sure if there's...
I see what you guys are saying. The ghost. Okay, if the ghost or if a ghost is the vendor, then yeah, Cayde dies.
Dupes across different zones because there were a lot of different things that could happen. And these...
Tassie saying it shows the witness controls them. That's literally ripped directly from zombies. I love it.
Encounters have dungeon and raid adjacent mechanics in them. Hell...
Whoa, what did he just say?
Different zones because there were a lot of different things that could happen. And these encounters have dungeon and raid adjacent mechanics in them. Hell, one of them is just a rip from King's Fall directly, which might be good or bad depending on your attitude towards that philosophy. They're not anything too insane, but it is more than I feel like I would experience in a typical strike or other just general content. It's on par with what you would experience in a seasonal activity. I feel like this might actually get some people more into the raid mechanics mindset as a result, which I'm a big fan of. And
he's not giving any examples.
there's definitely some people out there who have never been exposed to this kind of
I
stuff.
love how he had to block out this. There's like a public event thing starting, and he had to block it out.
It's only maybe been recently that they have with the coil or something. This is where I believe you'll also be grinding for the exotic class item, so you're probably going to want to get into groups to make it go a little
Oh, this is a vow. Oh my god, what?
faster, as there is a lot of running around to do if you're by yourself. One thing that was causing some friction as a solo is that
Also, that's interesting. So if this is the event where you grind class items, that means this won't be available until after the raid. They already said that. So surely this isn't the thing that doesn't happen until after the raid, right? Like nothing here seems to be. Yeah, I don't think that's right. You think Dato's just wrong here? That's kind of what I think. I also agree. I think so. Do we have any idea how many exotic weapons total we'll get? Not including the episode exotic, so Red Death doesn't count. I think 4. Raid exotic, which I think is a sword. Macrocosm or something. No, that's the other one. The linear, the sniper, and Khostov, I think. Probably 4. Maybe a couple more from a like exotic quest or something. Yo, Tris, thank you for the 30 months. Let's go. Hey, Scarrow. When are we able to use prismatic subclasses? Literally, like, as soon as you load in.
activities are worth 400.
Wasn't there another thing that got leaked from ArtStation a while ago? Yeah, there might have been a pulse. I think there was like an exotic pulse.
150 points. I usually
Ergo sum, thank you, yeah.
around 950 to 960 points after 2.
We do not know what the exotic sword
So I never
looks
knew if
like.
I
All
should
we know is Bungie sent out an email and it said the Ergo sum sword in it.
Just start a
Thank you for the
new
30 months, by the way,
encounter
Trish. Love your
or
face.
Run around like a maniac trying to get the rest of my kills done. In a group, I don't know if this is going to be a huge problem.
Counterclockwise.
but I
No,
also
counterclockwise, Dado.
probably missed some things like chests or
Wait, what?
you know, whatever other pickups that could have sped this up. I think the only strong negative that I had was that it takes place in Patrol, and therefore is incredibly easy, save for maybe the final encounter if you are
Oh, Dado! You were one counterclockwise away!
so it's not a huge deal if you do. This isn't really anything outside of the norm, save for maybe the coil. If you
Let's
run
go!
The 49 reses or however many they.
He fucking did it!
I did like the 2 unique bosses that I got to do. One of them shooting constant beams of pervading darkness, and you're just trying to have to dodge all around them, and then the other just being a massive arena full of enemies. I had a good time soloing these bosses. Speaking of a couple of these bosses, though, the Giga Strand and Stasis guys, they kind of hurt. The Stasis guy does this big AoE slow and freeze thing with stasis crystals, and if you're in the middle of that when that explosion goes off, you're gonna get seriously hurt, if not killed outright. It happened to me a couple of times. The Strand guy's just basic staff ranged attack also hurt pretty badly. I remember a couple of times just
Man, sitting here shitting on how easy the campaign is and just got
whacked by
ran.
it in the Legend campaign. Those 2 enemies were the only enemies I was really scared of during the campaign missions. Even in Patrol, they were a little scary sometimes. The other enemies mostly just kind of fell over on Patrol, but that's to be expected.
I'm excited for the Red Death.
I'll have more feedback after.
I'm worried because Red Death seems in PvE just like a worse version of Sunshot on Warlock, at least on any restoration builds. In PvP, I think Red Death will be incredibly dangerous.
The whole campaign and maybe do some content that features them a bit more heavily.
I hope there's more than just a campaign raid and new activity and they change up the formula. I think the change up the formula bit is the episode. I think they'll announce what's next on Bungie Day. Oh, maybe.
At a higher.
Yeah, Patrol seems to be at level.
I think that's pretty much everything else that I wanted to discuss from the event that I went to. All in all, pretty excited for Prismatic and the build crafting that's going to come from it, in addition to the exotic class items. I think it's really
The tower
fun.
looks beautiful.
I also think it's insanely strong based on my very initial impressions, but as time goes on and we get to play with it in a wider range of activities.
Oh, the raid is on 7-7. No, it's on 6-7. Sorry, the raid's on 6-7.
Weaknesses that Prismatic might have will start to show.
All patrols besides New Muno plus 0 now. Did they say that?
Any content where you're just slaying out, I think it goes absolutely crazy. Beyond that, we'll see.
Well, remember, June 7th is not, it's 6-7. It's not 7-7.
I know I didn't talk about stuff like the Pale Heart destination itself and a few other things you might have questions on. I am streaming right now, if you're watching this as this video.
Oh, follow into Carl, gotcha.
Data where you can ask me questions, and I will see if I can answer. But also, I wanted to wait for the full experience first before talking.
All right, let's watch.
some
Someone said more consoles video, so let's check that out. Once again, here I'll link Dado's video again if you want to save it and watch it later, or give him a view, because I'm not trying to steal any views here.
Guys,
Fucking love more console, dude.
Bungie flew me out from London all the way to Seattle to play the final shape.
I mean, dude, that editing's really good. I would not have taken the time to do that shit.
Bungie was kind enough to grant me early access to Destiny's most anticipated.
Oh, did I link this one?
expansion.
Let me link this one.
To date, and I'm gonna share everything I
Hey.
learned during my 2 days of playing through this content. But
Bye.
before we delve into the juicy details, and trust me, we're gonna cover a lot here. Here's a quick overview of what's coming up, and don't worry, there's no narrative.
That super looks so underwhelming. I'm not even gonna lie. I am exactly 0% excited about Twilight Arsenal. I'm about a 10 out of 10 for Song of Flame. I'm about a 7.5 out of 10 for the Arc Hunter. Twilight Arsenal, straight up 0 out of 10.
Let's start with the
I just don't know why I would ever use it over like literally any other Titan Super.
The huge new destination inside the Traveler. It's bursting with secret activities, brand new Pale Heart guns, an entirely new way to
Ooh.
activities, brand new.
Oh, I hope that's a fucking shader, dude. The scintillation. So bait and switch is an aggressive for, oh, it's an adaptive. Oh man, they changed the naming scheme. I'm never gonna get that down. I'm gonna call these things aggressive for the rest of my life. Do you know how hard it is? Do you know how many weapon frames I know off the top of my head? It's like 4. And this was one of them. And now they changed it. It's so fucking over, dude. I'm calling this shit aggressive until I die. Hey, if you're new around here and you're just now hanging out, you should subscribe. We're almost on the road to 100,000 subscribers. We're gonna keep going.
Pale Heart guns, an entirely new way to grind loot, a new destination activity, Overthrow, in which you'll encounter a new enemy race.
Ooh, new vortex frame as well.
Dread, and a whole heap of what I can only describe as deadly mini-games scattered across this strange landscape. And of course, a new campaign which you can play.
More console gives me, do you guys remember, and maybe some of you guys are too young, but everyone who's around my age, do you remember like standing in a GameStop when you were a kid and they had like the Game Informer or GameStop like preview TV on at all times, and they just had like it was usually a female voice just reading like plot points about a game, and it made the game sound so fucking cool, and it was like every game just constantly, it was just like that. That's like literally exactly the vibe more console gives. And I mean that is like an excellent trait to have. It's that is a really fantastic compliment.
Normal or legendary difficulty. I got to play new.
Thank you for the sub, Jonathan. Love your
Pale
face.
Hearts, and there's always something utterly bizarre to discover. Something that leads you further down the rabbit hole, which is actually an apt analogy because this new destination is just as crazy, just as hallucinogenically mind-boggling as Alice in Wonderland. The art team went.
You see what I mean? It's the perfect. It's like I think it's the best analogy I could have done.
Full-on crazy mode, and it's a joy to behold. I also got to play with 13 new final shape exotics.
Oh, okay, we're gonna read every fucking one of these. Does he give us an synopsis of these, or should I stop and read them? Does he give us a synopsis? Just read him? Okay, thank you.
Genically mind-boggling as Alice in Wonderland. The art team went full-on crazy mode, and it's a joy to behold. I also...
Okay, balance of power. Probably the worst shoes I've ever seen in my entire... Like, look at this. I know Dado was cringing when he saw this shit. Double down, your threaded specter has increased duration and durability. So that's your shadow clone thing. Damaging it releases additional threadlings. Ooh. While near your threaded specter, you do not appear on the radar. That's going to be pretty annoying.
To play with 13 new...
Gifted Conviction. This is the Warlock, right? Warlock chess piece. Excuse me. No, Ascension or Tempest Strike. Yeah, that is Warlock. Is this Hunter? Yeah, Tempest Strike's the... Arc Hunter. Yeah, okay. Fuck. We have too many weirdly named things. Activating Ascension or Tempest Strike throws bouncing explosives at nearby targets that jolt and damage them. Oh, now I remember. Jolting nearby targets grants you damage resistance.
Final shape exotics for...
Hazardous Propulsion. This is the rocket ones. Precision weapon hits or final blows have a chance to load a kinetic Exodus rocket. Activating your class ability fires loaded Exodus rockets. Damaging targets with these rockets temporarily increases damage you deal with all other rockets. Oh, this shit. 35% rocket buff. Does this stack with everything? Oh shit. That could be pretty fucking juice. How long does it last? Oh, just for one rocket? 10 seconds? Oh my god. That's pretty disgusting. Wishful Ignorance. Gaining an additional Frenzied Blade charge. Okay, First off, I think these are some of the coolest looking exotics literally fucking ever. They are unbelievably cool. I also think they're going to be really powerful. Frenzy Blade and Flechette Storm, no one uses that one, but Frenzy Blade, you already get 3 charges of. Now you get 4, because now it gives you an additional one. So now you get 4 Frenzy Blades. You get briefly increased damage with each strike. Pulses from your Banner of War return melee energy based on the number of allies healed. I think this has some very big potential. It all depends on 2 things. How much damage, like what's your damage bonus, and how, like if I'm in a raid, say I'm in Crota's End, in Lanterns, or at Crota. Let's say I'm at Crota. How fast is this? Like, how much energy does it? It does give me enough energy where I can like bam, 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 you know, and just like fucking go. Because if this is like infinite uptime, disgusting. At max, it's 100% at 4 stacks. I need to know how much energy this gives you.
9 exotic
Speaker's Sight. Dado tests out Banner of War in Final Shape, and he said it didn't feel bad to use it all. Oh, in Final Shape, yeah. But he was only able to play with 2 people. I really want to see what that looks like in a 6-person environment. Healing Grenades spawn a restorative, turret. Healing allies occasionally spawns an orb of power. I think this thing's going to be sleeper as well. I'm really curious, like, what? This just seems better than the boots of the assembler. But there's got to be a catch.
Pieces. Now some of these
was that Mateodoxia, something like that. Targets damaged by Arcane Needle emit a suspending detonation when defeated. I originally shit on this exotic, but I take it all back. Targets damaged by Arcane Needle emit a suspending detonation when defeated. That's pretty good. And landing multiple Arcane Needles in the same target immediately triggers a larger, more powerful detonation. That's literally all they showed, was that second part. Whoever did the trailers, You made it look really fucking bad. I'm sorry. Some of the trailers have been big hits. This thing looked really bad, and it's really good. Okay? But it looked really bad. Defeating suspended targets grants melee energy, and then your arcane needles are also strong against barrier champions. I think this has a really good chance for crowd control, like limitless crowd control. Dev builds. Don't read into it.
Weapons go hard.
Red Death Reformed. I'm excited for Red Death. Does he show what this perk does? Final blows with this weapon cure you and increase reload speed. Reloading after final blows cures nearby allies. I think this is going to be an unbelievable PvP weapon. My only thing is, like, if I am on, if I'm using a solar primary weapon, I'm doing a restoration build. What does this do better than Sunshot? You know what I mean? This does not get restoration rolling. It's just cure. So it would keep restoration up and cure you. But it doesn't have the extra killing potential that Sunshot has. The second Red Death perk gives you more damage the lower your health is and a few stat bumps. Yeah, so I think this is pretty, in my opinion, this is a PvP exotic. Yeah, it depends what the catalyst does. That's a good point too. You said it would be a good PvP weapon. Do you mean PvE? No, I mean PvP. I think this will be overshadowed by Sunshot a good bit, at least on Restoration Warlock. I think this will be greatly overshadowed by Sunshot. Sunshot has pretty much infinite health uptime anyways when you're using Warlock, and it kills better too because of the explosions. Maybe on other characters, I'm not as familiar with Restoration builds on other characters. But at least on Warlock, like I play Restoration Warlock is my main. I think this is greatly overshadowed by Sunshot. I think, though, in PvP, this thing is going to be disgusting. The pulses do get a damage buff, that's true. We'll have to check it out. I just think the crowd control that Sunshot offers is so powerful.
Especially Khostov.
Khostov, the right choice. Every 7th bullet from this weapon deals additional damage and ricochets to nearby targets. And then it has shoot to loot. And then the other perk, which I forget what it's called, when you pick up an orb, it gives you 7 ricochet bullets as well.
And you'll see
Microcosm. Paracausal beam fires a beam of kinetic light, dealing a massive bonus damage to shields. I do not know what the other perk does. What's the, does anyone know what the other perk does? Fallout said he enjoyed Khostov a lot more than he expected. I mean, I called it from that first trailer, man. Anything that ricochets and does more damage like that. Kinetic primaries that are exotic are incredibly underrated, in my opinion. They just do so much damage. Not even kinetic, just like primary exotic weapons are really underrated. And something like that has a lot of potential for, once again, more crowd. I think crowd control is like the best thing you can do with a primary weapon. And so something like that'll crowd control for you and do increased damage. I think Khostov is going to be incredibly good. And kinetic weapons charge both light and dark on your Transcendence. So, casting super gives it bonus damage. Oh. 20% buff after casting a super. That's really interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess, like, if you put it on a well lock, but, like, would that ever do? Why would I ever use this? If I well lock, no way that's going to do more damage than, like, a normal damage rotation, right?
Exactly why in this video.
Oh, shit. And I muted him. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, buddy. Microcosm is just a diet machine gun. I think it looks better than most machine guns, but I don't like machine guns already. I think they're pretty overhyped and a lot of stuff. So it does fill up both bars. That's a good point. Have you seen how Bungie is hiding 2 exotic weapons, which shouldn't be a... no, what are you talking about? Talk. I don't know what you're talking about. Still hunt, Cage Retribution, picking up orbs of power or landing precision hits. So it's 12 orbs or 6 precision hits. Charges the weapon's super bar. Once full, hold long fire or long reload to shoot golden gun shots. This does work with Celestial Nighthawk. Do we know what its perk does? Yeah, we know Ergo Sum's one of them. Yeah, once again, Renzier, that was like 3 years ago, buddy. Two or three. It was a while ago. There should be 2 more weapons from Pathfinder. More console actually hovers over the Pathfinder, which shows exotic reward, but he has to blur it out. Okay. Grants ammo when you charge. Oh, charge the perk. I see. Yeah.
And then there's the new Prismatic subclass that changes everything. This isn't hollow hyperbole, it's a game changer. A subclass that mashes together the best abilities from all your other light
I can't believe they let him show this.
And darkness subclasses into one godly build, plus a new exotic class item that steals exotic perks from other classes. Bungie has ripped up the rulebook here and blurred the boundaries between light and dark. Yes, it's
Yeah, I cannot believe they let him show that.
broken, and yes, the scope for crazy builds just got super silly. So buckle up and enjoy.
That's a sick animation.
My time with a final shape. Let's effing well do this. Okay, so let's break down some of the new stuff you'll find in the Pale Hearts. Starting with Pathfinder, a new way to earn loot.
IGN showed it to you? Okay.
Specific objectives in the Pale Heart, you'll unlock nodes on this Pathfinder chart. That kind of rhymed. These nodes form a path to the sweet, precious loot at the end. Simply click on the...
Oh, he blurs it. Look at that, he blurs it.
Gram to collect your rewards, but...
Watch the Ascross video on Microcosm and the Sniper. I can.
Because you now have the option to reset the Pathfinder with Glimmer and begin the grind again. Now, upon your second completion, you'll unlock a new exotic. And yeah, you can keep on resetting for XP, vendor reputation, and engrams. Now, let's talk about some of the mysterious secrets you'll uncover while exploring the Pale Heart. This place is packed with them. Now, I stumbled across this odd scene. A subjugator trapped inside a bubble.
Oh, he's gonna fuck up that ghost. By the way, of course, I'll have guides on all the secrets and stuff. Don't you worry. I got you. You guys are my precious people. I got you. Also, if you like that, you should subscribe and help us on the road to 100,000 subscribers. Just saying.
Now, upon closer inspection, I saw that he was attacking a ghost who was also just chilling inside this.
That's kind of fucked up.
And as you can see, the subjugator is going crazy, unleashing his stasis abilities upon this trapped ghost. And this is just one of the many odd things I encountered inside the Pale Heart. And he...
Bro! He didn't save the ghost! What an asshole! Oh, Khostov ornament. I totally missed it. Oh, that's very modern Call of Duty.
And here's another. Again, I just randomly bumped into this mysterious device while patrolling. Now, whatever this thing is, it needs psionic insight to activate it. So how do you gain this? Well, nearby, there is a constant enemy spawn of Taken Scion. Killing these gives you a timed buff, psionic insight. Now, if you return to the device with this buff, you then have the ability to interact with it by rotating it. And here's something else I discovered. Scattered around the Pale Heart are these special chests. Now, each of these chests has a unique objective you need to complete in order to open it. In this case, passing through these columns of light before the timer runs out. Once complete, I opened the chest and I was rewarded with a...
I like how everything is fucking blurred here, by the way. Everything.
very interesting consumable that led me to yet another hidden secret. Like I said before, down the rabbit hole we go. Next up, the new Pale Heart patrol activity, Overthrow. Now, the idea here is simple. Wipe out enemy forces that have gathered across the Pale Heart. Now, there are 3 levels and an end.
Thank you for the sub, the super chat, Black Ronin. Appreciate you.
The activities you'll encounter all across the map. I'm gonna quickly show you a complete run. In this activity, I'm killing enemies. Some of...
Do you guys know what this means? Do you guys know what this means? Eater Worlds confirmed.
which drop laser cannons needed to
Yo,
destroy
Cayde,
the
what's up?
taken blight in this area. And once destroyed, it gives birth to a massive taken ogre. Now, killing this ogre grants you a big chunk of overthrow progress, and you get a chest too. Next up, a Destiny classic. Enemies that you kill in this activity drop motes. You need to dunk these motes in this rift, and once you've dunked enough motes, you'll summon a boss. And here he is, Roge the Subjugator of Greed. Once you defeat him, you'll get another chest and another nice chunk of overthrow progress. Now, the sword I'm using here is False Idols, a new legendary solar sword with a deadly spin attack. Stick around to see all the new exotic guns and more legendary Pale Heart weapons in action. Now, as soon as I completed the moat dunking activity, I was instantly thrown into another more intense encounter. The area became smothered in darkness. The goal is to cleanse this
I
darkness.
love this. This is really, it's just him doing patrol stuff, but just hearing him narrate and describe it, it just makes me happy.
Certain enemies drop orbs that can be picked up and thrown at the taken blights that are scattered around this area. And as you can see, it gets rather intense. I think Bungie has increased enemy density. Thankfully, the Hunter's new Storm's Edge super is very effective at taking out large groups of hostiles. And yes, we'll be looking at all the new final shape supers later in this video, and honestly, they are some of the best supers in the game now, all of which can be used with the new Prismatic subclass. And yes, as you'll see, things get a little broken. Now, killing enemies isn't the only way to progress the overthrow activity. I discovered another special chest while looking for hostile enemies to destroy. This objective also involves...
I think this is going to be cool because Dado mentioned this is the only way to play with other people is if you queue into this specifically. And I think this is going to be pretty... Like, I think you're going to be able to optimize this. Like, it seems like it's taken them a while because they're soloing it. But imagine like 3 or 6 people all doing separate objectives at the same time. Could be kind of cool.
Now, once you step into the pool of light next to the chest, you'll automatically enter a third-person view. Now, this buff purifies any darkness that you walk over, and you guessed it, you need to cleanse all the blights in the surrounding area before.
Oh, that's fucking sick!
It's quite a satisfying little mini game, and once completed, you get another chunk of progress towards the overthrow activity. So then, once you've racked up enough kills, mini activities, and chests to pass level 3, you'll summon a boss. Now, it's worth noting that I've only shown a tiny
It really bothers me. I've talked about this before because they've shown it like once. It really bothers me that those... So you see the important buff at the top of the screen, pervading darkness up here? It really does bother me that it's not above your health bar or closer to your health bar. It just looks wrong floating there. And I'll get used to it. But there's so much free space up here. Just throw it up here.
Of all the overthrow activities you'll encounter across the Pale Heart's massive map. Anyway, once I did...
Games Radar has an interview with Chris Proctor. Yeah, we're going to read some of the articles next.
I got a fat loot drop, a weapon, 2 Traveler's Blessings mods, which grant you powerful buffs, and a Luminescent Seed, which resonates when near certain objects in the Pale Heart. Right, we're now going to look at all 13 final shape exotics, starting with the Hunter's new armor pieces. This is Gifted Conviction. I love this exotic. Activating Ascension, that's the new arc aspect.
Okay, I think we're going to skip some of this because I already read it.
Explosives at nearby targets that jolt and damage them. Jolting nearby targets grants you damage. Hunt, aka the Golden Gun. And while in Golden Gun mode, you gain increased target.
I want to see the first-person animation here.
And then away you go. And while in Golden Gun mode, you gain increased target acquisition.
And it says it in chat. That's fucking cool.
Down sight speed and flinch resistance. It's basically a portable super. Okay, it's now time to talk about the new Prismatic subclass, becoming Transcendent, the new final shape supers, and how all these combine to break the game. Now, like I said at the start of the video, the new Prismatic subclass changes everything.
Bungie paid a lot to get these streamers over to Seattle. The amount of marketing that they're and reach they're getting from these, this will probably be the single cheapest marketing push they will do all year. Compared to running ads on YouTube or running ads on TV, I've been getting ads on fucking Reddit. That sort of, like, the amount of money they put into that will vastly overshadow flying 12 people out to Seattle. 100%. It won't even be close. It will not even be close. Like, if you think about the average movie budget, a good rule of thumb I've heard is if you want to know how much someone actually spent to make a movie, it's the amount of money they spent to make the movie that they report. So, you know, most movies are like $50 to $100 million times 2, because usually marketing is just as much as making the movie. Ad space is not cheap. Not cheap at all. 12 plane tickets, a couple nights at a hotel, a couple meals. Very cheap comparatively.
To combine light and darkness abilities. If it sounds OP, that's because it is. It's like a compilation of all the best.
You better be careful, Austin, because I mentioned that a couple streams ago and I got roasted. So
subclass plus some new ones rolled into one godly build, and you can mix and match these abilities. Now, Prismatic also allows you to achieve Transcendence. This is basically a second mini super. Now, you fill your Prismatic meter, that's the pink meter below your regular yellow super meter, by dealing light and dark damage. And here's a tip: kinetic damage generates both light and dark energy, so it's an effective way of quickly filling your Prismatic meter, and once full, you can activate Transcendence. It's the only way you can destroy enemies with Transcendent shields, but it also turns you into a killing machine. Now, while Transcendent, you gain a powerful Prismatic grenade, your abilities generate faster, and defeating targets increases its duration. And you can even pop...
Look, I already said it, but that super looks incredibly mid.
Super, while
the bar under the super bar is your Transcendence bar.
That's two simultaneous supers, a mix of light and darkness abilities, and a new exotic class item with 2 exotic perks that further enhance your powers. This is why Prismatic is broken, and this is why you're gonna love it.
Yo, thank you, Cayde, for the sub, my friend.
On the final shape, well, having played through the numerous campaign missions, explored the Pale Heart, completed a run of the new Overthrow activity, the new Strike, played with the new exotic weapons and armor pieces,
bro, use your grenade!
Prismatic subclasses, plus a whole
it's the best part of your super!
To reveal here, I can safely say this is right up there with the best content Bungie has ever released. And guys, if you enjoyed the video, please do thumbs up and subscribe, because there's more final shape content coming your way. Speak soon, my friends.
I just think, oh, CB went.
Hey family. So you see the title of this video.
Okay. We're gonna do CB next. Let's read some of these articles. I bookmarked some of them. So here's Dexteros. Here, I want to read the Chris Proctor. Well, fuck. Let's read Polygons first. This is Polygons here. I'll link to all of these, of course. Dude, I'm so happy for CB. So this is Polygons. So it's written by Ryan. The Pale Heart, the new location in the Destiny 2 final shape, which is located inside the Traveler, is more like a Destiny-themed funhouse than a completely new destination. And while that might sound like a boring or even disappointing way to end the first Destiny saga, it's actually one of the most striking and engaging destinations in the franchise's 10-year history. That is a hell of an opener. Sorry, this is... One second, let me turn on dark mode. Waha. We do not do light mode in this house. On a visit to Bungie HQ, I was able to explore the Pale Heart of the Traveler and learned about how exactly the studio is using Destiny nostalgia to fuel the end of the Light and Darkness saga. It's a risky move to lean so heavily on the past, a fact that Bungie's Katarina Mikado? Sorry, Katarina. Project lead for Destiny 2 expansions, and Ben Womack, I'm just going to use first names because last names are hard, okay? Destiny 2's combat area lead are well aware of. The Pale Heart specifically is shaped by the memories of whoever is there, said Mikado. Fuck. They start using last names there. Said Katarina. This is why there's a very earthy feel to the start of the Pale Heart, and why the original Destiny's Tower plays such a big role in the safer half of the space, since it's influenced by the player character's memories. At the same time, the other half of the destination is controlled by the Witness, which inspires a darker, creepier, and more abstract environment. Let's go. As a Void Titan enjoyer, you're incorrect about that super, and I'll throw all the axes. I hope it's good. For all of you, I really hope it's good. I am just completely underwhelmed by it. One of the articles briefly mentions the raid DPS meta. Yes, it was the Chris Proctor interview, yeah. I spent several hours just roaming through the Pale Heart, soaking it in and playing with the new Prismatic subclass. And while I was initially worried about it feeling too much like the other places I visited in Destiny, Bungie appears to have stuck the landing here, at least in everything I've seen so far. The Pale Heart strikes a very promising balance between pulling on my heartstrings as a longtime Destiny player and giving me a regular dose of something new. Every time I walked through a space, I recognized the environment shifted to something slightly different or off before the familiar area had a chance to overstay its welcome. For example, there's a tree of silver wings from Season of Arrivals inside the Pale Heart, but this version has been smashed together with hive architecture from the Witch Queen. When you pair that together with the entirely unique environment around the tree, the area feels both new and familiar. It's an effective trick, giving the brain a dose of, oh, I recognize that dopamine with a chaser of surrealism, one that I was constantly impressed by during my time at the event. It's a bit hard to grasp how effective this is when you just read it on the page or see it in a quick gameplay video. I know I was skeptical before experiencing it myself, but the way Bungie has twisted its world here ends up to be very effective. What an insanely cool screenshot. So is that why Cayde is here at Crow's Memories? So we actually, the ship from the Closer to the Heart mission, the season finale, actually mentions this. Riven essentially tricked Crow. Yo, Xavier, thank you so much for the sub. Riven essentially tricked Crow to wish for Cayde back, essentially. This is in very hidden lore, but sort of, yeah. The entire trip left me feeling quite positive about the Final Shape expansion as a whole, but the Pale Heart genuinely wowed me in several places. Looking up to see the speaker's weird, mysterious machine covered in foliage next to two building-sized ghosts forced me to stop and just take in the scenery for a moment. And that's not something I do much in games that I've already spent thousands of hours in. For longtime players like myself, it made me feel a bit like a kid in a candy store. To use a very tired simile, I was constantly stopping to go, oh wow, that's this old location but upside down. Or I recognize this building, but how? Which has always followed by delight when I finally placed the memory. But the more I explored, the more the nostalgia became less important to the overall experience, and I found myself appreciating the whole package even more. I'm certain there will be some more Destiny players out there who will be furious that Bungie reused so much of the old art to create the Pale Heart. Oh, that's a good ass slide right there. But having experienced it, I think that's the wrong way to look at it. Sure, I've been to this junkyard in the Cosmodrome before. It's where I was first resurrected. But I don't recall the trees being shaped like hands back in the first Destiny. And that sounds so small, I know. But when you walk onto the abandoned highway and you see the hand trees growing up around the Witness's massive fortress, the comfort of nostalgia is just enough to keep you pushing further into the unknown. That's very well written. I'm excited, man. Kilo, thank you so much for the sub, my friend. I think he also... Oh, we talked about... Okay, he actually wrote a couple articles. Well, I like his writing style, so we'll read a couple of those. Here's the next one, Prismatic. The Final Shape's Prismatic subclass feels like another grand experiment. When I first saw the debut trailer for Prismatic, the new advanced subclass coming with the Final Shape, I told my friends this is the most significant change they've ever announced for Destiny. And after a visit to Bungie headquarters in Bellevue to play a part of the expansion early, I'm convinced I was right. Putting Prismatic in is probably going to change Destiny on a fundamental level, said Ben, Destiny 2's combat area lead. But that's kind of the intention of releasing that sort of feature in the game. If you're unfamiliar, Prismatic doesn't add any new abilities to the game, like the Stasis or Strand Darkness subclasses. Instead, the idea is that Guardians can combine elements together to form their own subclass to create far more elaborate or powerful builds than ever before. So we already know some of that. I want to see more of his opinions. It's all very overwhelming, but like Ben said, that's kind of the point. I think that this is really us giving a big love letter to the master build crafters of the game. We're going to give you a lot more to think about, and we do want you to think about it because we think about it. Katarina, the expansion project lead, went on to say that Prismatic works from two angles, rewarding players who already have a lot of game knowledge and the master build crafters, and encouraging players who have very little experience with crafting builds to get in on the fun. Prismatic gives you many more options than you've ever had in Destiny, so it's nearly impossible to look at Prismatic customization screen and not think, okay, so how am I going to make these things work together? Now, I've put together quite a few builds in my decade of Destiny, but during my preview, I repeatedly found myself jumping into my menu to make slight tweaks to my Prismatic setup. Finding a way to consistently charge up my Transcendence meter felt like a real dance, and it had me thinking about how well my loadout synergized with my class setup. I'd gone a sweet Stasis and Strand Titan build together that let me freeze and suspend everything, but without any light abilities. I was really having a tough time getting the light side of my Transcendence buff bar going. To fix it, I started changing on my weapons. I swapped to a strand melee for an arc one, and now kills with my primary and heavy weapons were contributing to my light bar, while most of my abilities gave me darkness energy. Every time I tried out a new build, I'd have to go through this iteration process, and each time the game would reward me for it, as if every piece of the puzzle I managed to slot in made me that much stronger. Okay, that's pretty sick. Fun as it was, I did leave Bungie headquarters with a few concerns regarding Prismatic. There's a frame in the More Console video that isn't blurred and you can see what it is, the exotic, I mean. Oh, really? Oh, no. I'm not gonna get him in trouble. So I'm not gonna show it, okay? I went through the aspects frame by frame, and it looks like the Prismatic blog was right. They've increased the fragment slots for some aspects in the Prismatic kit. Bleak Watcher and Weaver's Call. How many on average do you get? So like right now you usually get like 4. Do you get like 6, 7 now, or what? First, I felt so powerful using Prismatic, I couldn't help but wonder how Bungie ever plans to challenge me again. He is the second person to point that out. I mean, I think Transcendence is gonna fuck everything up. I originally thought it was gonna be underwhelming at first until you had time to get the exotic class items, but I'm really starting to think that may not be the case. My concern is more that weapons outside of boss, DPS and GMs are going to feel even more useless and only for utility. Perhaps. I mean, a big part of Prismatic is using your guns to charge your Transcendence, right? So I think they'll fit in quite well still, but we'll obviously have to wait to see. It's hard to say just based off of a couple of descriptions and some patrol gameplay. My more serious concern is over what abilities and aspects the developers have decided to include with Prismatic, as you can only pair certain abilities from each element together. The team at Bungie decided to use some of the least popular aspects from each class when making Prismatic. This meant I only had aspect to aspects I don't spend a lot of time using. On one hand, that's pretty exciting as it helped the whole package feel fresh. On the other hand, I couldn't help but wonder what types of builds I'd be able to make if Bungie removed the restrictions even more. And I would bet as we go through the episodes and the future, whatever the future of Destiny 2 holds, I bet they'll add more and more to expand on this. But I feel like people who have really never struggled in life want a challenge in video games, and that annoys me to no end. What? What kind of take is that, brother? What the fuck? Why play a game if not to become more powerful and shut down enemies? What? Excuse me? That's a really fucking funny talk. That's great. What if I compare this? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna skip a lot of this. I agree. This might sound like... Wait, we have a lot of future plans, and we're hoping to, change and react to depending on how players react to Prismatic in the first day, the first weekend, through the raid race, and through the first week, said Ben. He told me that the developers want and expect players to think about how non-Prismatic aspects would impact the Prismatic build. But the hope is that those same players would also ask themselves a question like, well, how would Bungie balance that? There are a few ways to look at Walmac's statements here, but it's clear to me that Prismatic is an experiment, like Stasis for the Subclass 3.0 system back in 2020. Ahead of the Final Shapes launch, that experiment is already the most interesting thing that's come out to Destiny in years. But what will this experiment look like in a few months or even next year? That's a question that all Destiny fans should really be asking once the Final Shape arrives on June 4th. Yeah, I'm excited. I've said this a couple times. I think Prismatic's kind of a springboard for a couple of things. I think it is, a way to more easily add variation into the game. If in an episode they want to add a couple fragments or aspects, they can do that, and it's a little bit easier to balance. I also think it would be a really cool way to tease a new subclass. I still think 3.0s and regular subclasses are going to have their places, although this review and Dado's review has me kind of questioning that, and More Console's review, actually, he said the same thing. I still think there are going to be places where 3.0s are very powerful. And I still think Prismatic would be really cool if we go through and say we solve a community puzzle, and then if the reward is like a resonance grenade that we only use in Prismatic. and then, you know, there's another community event, and then bam, you get like a prismatic aspect or melee, or not prismatic, resonance melee or something, and they kind of like give you little teases of a new class and can balance them individually before like eventually dropping an entire subclass on you type of thing. I think that would be kind of cool. So I mean, not really that it's any of your business, Black Ronin, but I was one of 6 children. Yeah, I did grow up kind of poor. Not kind of poor, like pretty poor, but it's really none of your business. I just like challenge, you know what I mean? It's the same thing that drives me to exceed at everything in my life, succeed and excel at everything in my life. It's just something that I enjoy. It's kind of weird that you're relating like that, but hey, if you want an easy game, just sit in patrol. So yeah, we are going to check out the games radar next, I think. All right, so I already read this. Okay, I don't want to read too much about the campaign. So the other Polygon one is about the campaign. I want to leave a lot of the campaign to surprise myself. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave that one. Games radar we'll read next. Even if it's just like, a lot of people have, like Dado made a comment on like, well, not really. Some people are making comments about like switching up campaigns and stuff. And I really, like, it's a week away. I just want to experience that for myself. So I'm not going to read too much about that. I think I'm going to start, excuse me, fuck me. I'm going to start with Song of Flame, but I have a lot that I'm really excited to try out. I am more excited to try out like all 3 characters than I have been. Well, maybe not Titan. I'm more excited. No, I'm just kidding. I'm more excited to check out all 3 characters than I have been in a very long time. So you want to challenge but want to excel? Is that an oxymoron? No, like I wanted to be challenged, so I got a PhD, and that was challenging, and I excelled in chemistry, and now I have a PhD. You see? Same thing in video games. It's like you have to face hard things to get better at things. I think Black Ronin is like 12 and doesn't have a very clear understanding of the idea of like practice or repetition and getting better at things. That's like, there you go. I don't think they go into any depth. They play the first bit of the first mission. They're saying it's good though. Good. Like I said, I just want to stay away from all of the campaign stuff personally. That's just, you know, the thing with like the rest of the game, like replay it, like the raid, maybe not the raid. I don't want that spoiled either, but like patrol zone and stuff, you get to experience that an infinite amount of times. Like I'll be there farming every day. The campaign, you might play through it multiple times, but you only really get to experience it once. You know what I mean? It's like your first time through the campaign is just a completely different experience. And I like to keep that like as pure as possible, personally. A lot of what I'm getting from these articles and videos is that the gameplay is going to be stellar. That's kind of what I am seeing as well. What do you think of some of the raid bosses are going to be? I don't think Zavala will be raid boss. If Zavala does end up being like a bad guy, I think it'll be campaign final boss. You know what I mean? I think raid bosses maybe like I think there will be one giant version of one of the new things. So like maybe a giant subjugator, although that's kind of Rolk. I would love a double boss. So like a one boss that's 2. That's the new Scion enemies. I forget their names. Yeah, I forget their names, but the 2 mini Scions, I would love like a big version of them. That would be really cool. Or a giant gun bat. But I want at least 2, if not 3 witness encounters as well. They don't all have to be like DPS encounters. You know, maybe like a puzzle, a DPS. But in an ideal world, I would love like 3 witness encounters. Just something they have never fucking done before. I think that would be unreal, personally. So it's so crazy that IGN said Prismatic was super weak and everyone else is saying it destroys difficulty in the game. I kind of already made a comment about that. and I really like I really hate like saying negative things about like anyone, or not even negative, but anything that could be perceived negative. But I really do think like that I expected that. Let's just say that. You know, I think Destin is a really cool guy, and I'm sure he did the IGN review. I haven't checked. It might have been Travis actually, but I'm assuming it's Destin. I think he's a really cool guy. He seems like a really nice guy, but it is quite obvious that he fell out of love with Destiny at some point. I mean, they stopped Fireteam chat, right? And then just watching some of the most recent Fireteam chats, it just seems like he hadn't caught up all the way. A lot of his like complaints or comments were about things that were already addressed or didn't really pertain to the game nowadays. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with not being like a play Destiny for 20 hours every day kind of person. It just means that you might be a little bit more out of touch, for lack of better terms. So he's just not as familiar with the 3.0 system or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like, I kind of expected that. Nothing wrong with that. I'm really not trying to be toxic or anything. It's just that I don't really find that surprising. So I don't agree. I think IGN does a lot of great stuff. And I think Destin has done a lot of great stuff for Destiny and the Destiny community as a whole. But I just think he's a little bit more disconnected from the franchise than he has been in the past. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just, I kind of expected it. Shivu will be in the Heresy episode. Yeah, I agree. I think we lose partially at the end of the campaign. I fucking hope so. I want to be like, right in the testicles. You know what I mean? But I mean, not like in real, not like literally, but you know, I want to gut punch so hard. I get like a hernia, you know? You know what I mean? Blows my mind. We still don't have any idea if that Zuri work. I think the reality is it's just not really that important right now. I think we got a lot of more important things to focus on. The only episode we have a date on is Echoes. Echoes? Is that the first one? Echoes? That feels right and wrong at the same time. It starts the week after, so we know it starts June 11th. Then we know every episode is about 18 weeks because every episode is 3 6-week acts. So just plot out 18 weeks after those. Do you think the raid should be the longest? I do think it should be the longest. Do I think it will be the longest? I am not going to say I want it to be 6 encounters so badly, but or even 7, like fuck me. I want it to be so many encounters, but I will not be betting on anything more than 4 encounters. The last like 12 raids have been 4 encounters. And I am not, I mean, every raid since like Deepstone. What was before Deepstone? Guardian was 4 encounters. Crown was 4 encounters. Every raid since like fucking Scourge has been 4 encounters. Like I don't think, I'm not betting on getting a raid more than 4 encounters ever again. Okay. We don't see Eris, Elsie, Drifter, so many characters missing from the trailers. I mean, look, the reality is you don't need 50 characters, right? This is about reconnecting with the beginning of Destiny. It is kind of weird that maybe they didn't work in the Stranger a little bit. I feel like the Stranger's lore, it plays really heavily into like her time loop thing. Like you think she would be in it a little bit. I would expect that, but the original 3 Vanguard in Crow, like that's like, yeah, that's about what I expected. Maybe some Cayde and Mithrax in the in that like final cutscene thing, but in like the battle one. So Destiny 2 was 5. No. Reprise raids do not count because they already had a set number of encounters. I'm talking about new raids. I don't think anything's had more than 4 encounters since Last Wish. Crazy that DLC is $50. I don't necessarily think, I mean, maybe like 7 years ago, I would have complained about that, but kind of used to it by now. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to be checking out Skillup's video either. I appreciate the heads up for the spoilers on that one. So I'm 100% convinced that the activity class items drop from has not been revealed yet. I completely agree. DLC and episode together? Yeah, so, I mean, you're looking at 20 weeks worth of content for $50. That's more than I get for, like, a fucking $70 full game, you know what I mean? You miss me complaining about that. I'll complain about a lot of monetization in Destiny. The price of an expansion is something I don't think I have ever complained about. And as long as they don't get ridiculously ridiculous about it, I'm not going to complain about it. Event cards, I'll complain the fuck out of that. Kind of predatory silver pricing, like weird cutoffs and stuff, I'll complain about that. No shot I complain about. This is like the most reasonable thing Bungie does from a business perspective. You know what I mean? So like, okay, they talked to Chris Proctor here. We talked about, so to get a better understanding of the new guns and how our old guns are changing, I sat down with the weapons lead, Chris Proctor, beloved in the Destiny 2 community for frequently sharing in details from his legendary balance spreadsheet. I do love Chris. He's cool. Except for that one time he added airborne effectiveness to the game. That was not cool, Chris. Everything else was cool. We talked through the potential of weapon mods, how to deal with power creep, and the final shapes above average injection of new guns, and a whole lot more. Also, Chris, if you were the person who added Dominion to Trials, that was also not cool. I fucking hate Dominion Trials. It's the worst thing that ever happened to the franchise. And I mean that. Worse than Season of the Plunder, okay? Dominion, real bad. Oh goddamn. Final shape arguably will be better than Forsaken and Witch Queen combined. Like, whoa, let's like slow the fuck down there, buddy. I think it'll be good, but like, how do you even quantify better than Witch Queen and Forsaken combined? That's literally not tangible. Let's bring that down a bit. Let's just match Savathun, Witch Queen before. Let's just get there. You know what I mean? Season of the Plunder Slender. Season of the Plunder, like, literally almost killed the game. Okay? It was awful. Let's reel that back. Like, let's hit Witch Queen. Let's hit Witch Queen first. If they took out the cap zone, you would want a back hot take. Literally false. I have like a billion flawlesses. I think it's like 800 or maybe not 400. Maybe it's 400. I have a lot of flawlesses. I played enough trials to know what Scarrow likes in trials. And let me fucking tell you, zone capture Dominion is literally the worst thing fucking ever. Okay. How many? 401 flawlesses. I got a little ambitious there. I have a lot of flawlesses. Capture zone trials is the worst fucking thing that has ever happened. Period. That's not a hot take. You're just wrong. To start, Plunder's better than Haunted? That's crazy. The arrow, some sword icon spoils so much? What? How could a sword spoil so much? Now I'm curious. Fuck, I wish you guys didn't say anything. Now I want to look at it. How could an icon, unless it's like the witness's head? No spoils. What? Okay, no spoils. Wait, is it the sword from our grave? No spoils. Stay strong, me. To start, let's talk about why spec mods are gone. I'm gonna skip this. I don't really care about that. I was wondering if you're gonna add new mods, obviously not to replace them with the same effect, but to fill that void of, okay, we have some open slots now. We don't have any specific release schedule that I can talk about, but yeah, definitely an upcoming release. Not like a year from now, but sometime in the year of the final shape, we're intending to introduce more mods and make those more interesting. Like, expressions of your playstyles give you more choices that actually matter. Let's fucking go! Chris, I love you, dude. Thank you. Let's fucking go. I had the same reaction. We're running backup mag now. Maybe counterbalance in PvP, looking at the damage bump. If we can get a bit nerdy with some of the math, what are the big winners here? Yeah, we can. The balance page is like 4 pages of numbers. That's really not actually as much as I thought it would be. I could pick and choose some stuff. So firstly, certain things like rockets. Rockets are not getting a damage bump because those are already far and away the most popular boss damage weapons. They're honestly a bit overtuned. We didn't feel that we needed to bring them down, but we aren't going to bring them up either. But pulse rifles are getting a 20% damage buff in PvE, pellet shotguns 10, but we already know all this. I'm going to skip like all the stuff we already kind of know because we have a lot still to get through. So we're all on the same path. Yep, okay, I'm gonna skip that. So this is a separate topic, but it still ties into the weapon sandbox. So right now, everyone's playing Onslaught and getting those God Roll Brave weapons. And we've just heard that sunsetting is now sunset, and some legacy gear will come back in the future better than ever. So I've been thinking about how the final shape guns are gonna earn a slot in my loadout without power creeping the game to oblivion. Too late. How do you make me put down the mountaintop and midnight Q that I just got? It's a trickier one to answer, and just being completely honest, we can accept a small amount of power creep. It is important that the new stuff be competitive with the old stuff. I don't think we're at risk of the Sunrise weapons suddenly being go-tos again, because everything from Witch Queen onwards has an origin trait. Yeah, you could get Kindle Orchid with Rampage and Kill Clip, but that doesn't have an origin trait. It doesn't have the stats that are as high as some of the current weapons, that kind of thing. We're also pushing more into new types of experiences, some more novelty. You've probably experimented with some of the new weapon types, like micro missiles. Those are sick. Specifically, the micro missile grenade launcher, rocket pistols. Oh, I thought that's what he's talking about. Rocket pistols are sick. That's what I meant. The support auto rifle or the area denial. The fuck is an area denial grenade launcher? Is that... Oh yeah, I'll grab the link to this. Area denial grenade. Is that like forbearance? Yeah, it makes me think of like a legendary Wither Horde. Huh. There's a bunch of stuff in the final shape, including some things that you probably won't see until after the raid. We expect those to fill fairly unique roles in the sandbox. So if you want a weapon that fills that role, you go for the new thing. That's sick. It feels like there's a richer design space, at least from what I've seen, and what you've described, with more options versus the same weapon types getting stronger, more colorful guns over better guns. Yeah, that's definitely a focus. We want players to have really cool different options for things, not providing vertical growth every release. It has to be a weapon that we haven't heard of yet, yeah. You saw the Pale Heart machine gun was a new archetype? Oh no! I didn't see that. That's really interesting. Power creep is definitely a word on my mind. Just 10 minutes ago, I finished unlocking all the prismatic stuff and was able to make my warlock build with a perfect exotic class item. Are you especially comfortable with a little bit of power creep because it's the final shape? It's a big climatic expansion. Do you need to push the sandbox, not just in prismatic, but also in the guns? I think there's a large amount riding on the weapons landing really strong in the final shape. I think, yeah, we probably just need a little bit more as a result. But Destiny's continuing. We definitely got plans for the next few years after this. He said it. So we need to not consume all of the power space in the final shape. We've got to keep the game going. Compared to previous expansions, especially Witch Queen and Lightfall, most recently, how does the sheer quantity of new guns compare in the final shape? Slightly above average, I think. Witch Queen, if I remember correctly, had 48 weapons or something like that. Lightfall had slightly less. The final shape has slightly more? What? A lot of the weapons are higher profile. You saw the Season of Dawn weapons popping up here with an origin trait. I think the quantity overall is the same because the episode is longer. It's like a 4-month season. So there are more seasonal weapons. It went from 6 weapons to 10. And that's definitely higher. We're also rotating weapons a little more, rotating more weapons through the pools of rituals like trials and that sort of thing because of the longer seasons. Wow, holy shit. Yo, Melina, what's up? I'm doing super great. How are you doing? Oh my gosh. Fucking more than 48 weapons, by the way. As I was thumbing through some of the new guns, it felt like special attention has been paid to element types in specific weapon archetypes. Yeah, okay, of course. This is about the most loaded question I can give you, but how do you see these sandbox changes affecting the DPS meta? This is a very interesting answer. I'll refer to my balance page again. I think that the DPS meta, particularly for the final shape raid, is going to be very different than normal. I'm not going to drop any hints about it, but the setup of the raid is such that certain strategies that the players are banking on are just not going to work because of how the encounters are set up. There's also some specific changes that we've got, like rockets are relatively slightly weaker because machine guns and swords are coming up. There's some new sword meta options that are coming. I think we'll see it shift around a bit. Rockets are still strong. I think the team that comes prepped with rockets will do fine, but they'll be less dominant. So what this tells me, and I don't want to give away too much of my team's secrets, you know what I mean? We've been talking about what this means. We've been theorizing. I think this means that DPS is going to be really fucking weird in the raid. I don't know if this means like Destiny 1 Oryx weird or Riven weird or literally anything else. But it seems like DPS is going to be really fucking weird in the raid. And I am absolutely here for it. Or yeah, Axis Phase 2 weird. That's a good one. Yeah, I'm super here for it. I don't know what the fuck this means. I feel like it's not burst DPS because most teams are outfitted for burst DPS right now. Especially right after Pantheon with like, you know, what's the wormy? Parasite, Mountaintop with Recom, Burst Supers, Fourth Horseman's super fucking cracked right now. Cascade Point, Edge Transit. Like DPS is literally in, I would say DPS is more of a burst meta than it has ever been currently. So I don't think it's that. Or Atheon Weird. Yeah, Atheon Weird's a really good one too. I definitely, look, I am just going to say like the whole thing about this expansion is like our abilities and supers. It would kind of make sense that that plays into it in the raid as well. You know, Atheon has fucking insane grenade recharge rate. Kind of would make sense for this too, right? So I think it has less to do with the time of DPS phase. I think it's the type of DPS phase or what other buffs or things you get. There's also always the possibility, you know, Crota has like an intrinsic sword buff. Riven has an intrinsic sniper rifle nerf, like debuff. They could always throw some weird shit with that too. So kind of fucking weird. I'm excited for it. 1 week away. Are there anything else? It's Game Radar, Game Post. Here's Game Post. What do you got? The good news is that Bungie has officially confirmed an exciting update for Destiny 2's upcoming expansion, The Final Shape. This update will bring extra loadout slots. Do they say how many? In a recent press event for The Final Shape, Tyson Green confirmed that the upcoming expansion will add more loadout slots to the game. There will be additional loadout slots, and they will not be difficult to tame either. I believe we're putting them on Guardian ranks. No! Tyson! No! Fuck! That's the most disappointing news I've heard all day. Oh my god. At this time, we don't know exactly how many more loadout slots they will add. Oh, Jesus. Huge L. Okay. Does Destin's... So I saw Destin's article. Does Destin's video spoil anything? We can watch that. Okay. We'll watch Destin's review real quick. Here, here's the link for that. For Destin's review. Sorry, there's an ad, which is why CB's here. Plus, I just love looking. This is actually my desktop. Seeing CB happy makes me happy. You know what I mean? All right, here's Destin's review. I think it's worth noting, I don't know what he's going to say here, but I have the only even slightly negative thing I've seen all day is from Destin. So that is and that could have been taken out of context. So I did not read his entire article. I saw that it got a little spoilery. So we're going to watch this.
For Destiny over the last decade. That's right, Destiny turns 10 years old in September. It's a journey that spanned 2 console generations and 3 publishers.
I love this this effect here, by the way.
First Activision,
it's like actively changing before your eyes.
Now Sony. Hell, I met my wife, got married, and had 2 kids since I started my journey as a Guardian. The point is, it's been a hell of a ride for the
I wonder if he was supposed to
kids since I started my journey.
Look at the bar. Look, it shows the name here. I wonder if he was supposed to blur that. Because everyone else blurred it. Sorry, I want to check real quick that I got my... Okay.
It's been a hell of a ride for the Destiny.
Having watched this video, I can say it was truly one of the reviews ever. Also, you might get spoiled. Okay, well, he talks a good bit about the story. I don't know if it's worth it. If he talks about the story, I don't think I want to watch it then. Yeah, no. If he talks about the story, I'm not gonna risk it. All right, CB, talk to me, baby. 1 second. Actually, let me link you. Gotta link my buddy. If there's one video you watch today, make it CB's.
You kind of know what this is about. I got flown to Bungie headquarters, and before we talk about anything about what that entailed, I want to say big thank you to all you guys for making this possible. It's almost June.
Thank Activision. No, don't thank Activision. Shit, they're not under Activision anymore. Don't thank Activision. Thank Sony. Thank Bungie.
8-year anniversary of my YouTube channel is.
Don't thank Activision. That was reflex. That was my bad.
So it's been
don't do that.
A decade of doing this, and I remember being I think I was 21-year-old college student that loved, this game. And
can we just talk about this fucker? He has his fucking CRTV right behind him. He's got like this shit has, he has his YouTube plaque right next to the RCA cables.
To be able to maybe
that's all. I haven't seen one of these TVs since I was like 2 years old.
The game that I love, have a place where we can all come together and just have one big family, and that felt like a pretty.
All right, CB, I love you. I'm gonna skip to your review. I'm so sorry.
Maybe slightly spoilers, so if you don't want to see spoilers, feel free to click away. Some of the stuff has already been released. I mean, some of the things.
Destin's vibe is, our video is just talking about the vibe. Does he talk about story beats at all?
Things I saw when I originally saw them hadn't been released, but they've been being released via articles or Vidocs or whatever the case may be since I left. I was there a little over a week ago. So, with that being said, I want to talk about a few things that I saw. I'll go down kind of a list of things that I at least want to slightly gloss over, and we can just go from there. I'm gonna keep things pretty casual and chill here because I feel like there's so many amazing creators that are gonna be covering the nitty gritties of every single little thing, whether it's prismatic and exotics and all these other things. So I know for me, besides maybe in a short form way, I know you guys don't usually come to me for the news. So we're gonna talk
short form
about
king.
More in this case of an experience.
It's a little ironic because he's not a short king. This guy, very tall, very big. CB could absolutely pile drive me. I'm 6'2". He could take my ass out.
And how my experience was. So it was really cool. So we flew out there. We got to play a lot of different aspects of the final shape early, which was cool. And I'll break it down into probably 6 bullet points that we'll talk about here today. And if there's any questions following that, I'm sure they'll be answered in coming videos and Vidocs and trailers and whatever else Bungie's got cooking, because clearly they've been cooking.
He might have used to be super skinny. When I saw him at GCX, man had definitely been working out. He has a very broad chest. 6'1". I'm not 6'1". I'm 6'2". I will fight you.
Double Vidoc articles, and I mean, and God knows what else is coming. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about Prismatic. I want to talk.
Trying to see if I missed any videos.
Overthrow. That's on the Pale Heart.
While we're watching this, if anyone has any other articles or videos that I have not covered, send them my way on Twitter or Discord if you don't mind.
We'll talk about exotic weapons.
Oh, nice paper. I didn't tell you. That's sick.
The exotic class
or you didn't
items.
tell me.
And then we'll talk about an interview that I got to do too. I think that'll be really cool to touch on as well. We're not going to go into all the details, but I do want to talk about at least a little bit of it. So let's get into it. You may also be wondering if we're going to touch on the story, and I'm going to keep story pretty much out of this video, but I did enjoy the story that I got to play. I got to play some of the first mission. I got to see some other stuff as well, and all I will say is that what I played I had fun with, and where I left off has me very excited to see how things end. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I did have fun though. I had fun with what I saw. So starting off, Prismatic is insane. On Titan, I felt so strong. Between having the nade, the suspend,
I love how every single person is like, yeah, Prismatic's just kind of fucked, actually.
lances all over the ground, but everywhere. It's.
Oh, is this voice echoing? Sorry, that's my bad. Can you go a short recap on everything you've covered? Oh man, we read the Chris Proctor interview. We read some of the Polygon stuff. We watched Dado's Prismatic video. We watched more Console's video. CB's video. We are trying to determine whether or not we should watch Destin's video or not, because I don't want any spoilers.
Super strong, and I feel like I was really only scratching.
Is it still too loud?
Like,
can you still hear him?
What's going to happen when actual good players at the game, unlike myself, get their hands on it? Next was Overthrow. The new activity is super, super cool. I only tried this once, and I'd assume there's a lot more to it than what I currently got to try. But
His voice should not be echoing anymore.
It felt really fresh, and I think a lot of that also had to do with the fact that I was facing new enemies. We had new prismatic toys. The objectives were fun.
This should really do be melting right now.
Cool,
I'm just gonna say.
A lot of cool twists to it, and it felt really scary, honestly, too, just from the vibe of the Pale Heart. It was still early, but I did have fun in my first one. It's on the Pale Heart destination itself, as I mentioned, so you can queue into this with a fire team so that you actually have people to play with if you're a solo player. Next, let's talk about exotic weapons. Starting off with the trace rifle. The Paracosmal imbuement perk causes final blows with the weapon to grant you
Okay, if he just talks about...
And also you get a bonus to damage...
If he just talks about exotics, I'm going to skip this, because we've already gone over all the exotics.
Cool. Another thing that I really liked worth mentioning is the reorganization of the buffs.
It is so why did they put it there? Man, I am never not gonna bitch about that. It overlaps with your fucking scope. What are we doing? Put it up there. Put it above the health bar. Look how much space is up here. What are we doing?
On the screen.
That will literally never not bother me. I'm gonna complain about this until the day I fucking die. I'm gonna tweet this out. Like, oh my god. It's painful. It is so painful. No, I need a big paintbrush for this shit. It's got to go to the team. Holy, it just looks so bad there. It overlaps with your gun. I can't.
Now you can actually finally see them. Admittedly, you do have to retrain your eyes, but I really do like it a lot. I got to interview 2 amazing people at Bungie as well, which was also pretty cool. And I'll get to share some of it, not all of it, but I'll share some of the things that I did get to talk about. So without going too deep in it, one of the questions and concerns that I had, especially being the exotic guy that you guys know me for, the one that just wants to collect every exotic, one thing that
everyone should
am
like this,
super
please.
Full transparency nervous about is the fact that all the exotic armor discovery, so all of these things that we just went over, are going to be discovered in the table from Raoul with the new change. So exotics are going to be discovered from Raoul. That has me slightly nervous. So what I asked was, what are you doing to make sure that we still have those special exotic moments, or just moments in general with getting things that we love that are important to us, so that not only is it just a fun toy that we're spraying, but it also has meaning behind it, right? There's still exotics I remember getting from D1 when I was 19 years old that I still remember now at 29, just because of the story behind getting them. And so they said they spent a lot of time making sure that the exotic weapons felt meaningful to obtain, as well as recreating a lot of those moments with the exotic class item, getting the perfect combination that you want. Drew a lot.
I'm so excited for the class item grind. That's going to be sick.
The feelings that I was describing with exotic weapons. So that was what Bennett told me. So I'm excited to see the process of getting the different exotic class item combinations, seeing what that process actually is, and hoping that, you know, we feel those same feelings that we did in the Forsaken days and the Destiny 1 days. So that was the answer to that question. Another question that I had, and this was another one that was really important, I was fully transparent that I wasn't a big fan of how the throne world existed after the initial campaign launch, excuse me. So it felt like after the campaign was over, after the raid was over, there wasn't really any reason to be in the throne world anymore, and I was so excited.
That's kind of been a thing with every single expansion, except with the exception of Forsaken. To be fair, that's not really just a throne world thing. But I totally agree.
It was going to evolve over the course of the expansion, kind of like within Last Wish. We had our campaign, then we had our raid, and then once the raid was beaten, then it opened up additional layers to the Dreaming City, the Curse, which led to another mission that happened after the raid was beat, and then there was a random portal that spawned. Shattered Throne ended up coming out of that portal, and there was just so much, right? The Dreaming City evolved. It had life. There was reason to be there throughout the year. The Ascendant challenges. There's so many different things that caused you to be there all the time. I didn't feel that with the throne world. So what I asked, and I asked this to Katarina, was what are we doing to make sure that the Pale Heart still has meaning and reason to be there post the campaign? I said it's really important, in my opinion, that the world continues to evolve the way that it did in the Forsaken days. And I just asked straight up, has that been a priority when developing the final shape? And what she said is that it is a priority. It is something that they want to achieve, having that reason to continue to be in the Pale Heart.
That's super interesting. I mean, that's like the grind behind the exotic class items, right? Like I guess we kind of knew that they were doing that, but
she didn't reveal.
It is definitely good to have confirmation of that.
She said one of the things that they're doing so that they can actually create some of those evolving world moments and some of those things that I'm scratching on is they handled this destination in a
I believe
way.
so, Swerkle.
So the way that they handled,
I believe so. Yo, Rasmus, what's up, brother?
It's private. So if you go into, think the EDZ, you could randomly maybe see me in your lobby if we maybe live close to each other, if we queued in at the same time, whatever the case may be.
This is really interesting.
The only way you'll have people in the Pale Heart with you is if you bring them in with you. That's kind of scratching on the surface of what I was saying too. With Overthrow, obviously you can queue people in there with you. They have the tools to make sure you can do Overthrow with other people. But if you load into if you load into the Pale Heart alone, you are going to be in there alone unless you bring a fire team. And that was set up in a way so that hopefully they can scratch some of those itches that we've had and that we've been wanting since the Dreaming City. So I thought that was pretty exciting. So very, very excited there. There were some other questions that were asked too by Dado and Fallout as well, and I'm sure they'll probably be covering it in their own videos. So I'll just leave it on those two main questions that I asked. There was some other things discussed as well, but I'm going to leave it to just those two. And yeah, overall, the experience was super fun, guys. I mean, it was a dream come true. You know, flew out there, got to meet so many amazing folks.
Cool. I'm happy for him. I really am. Okay, I think that's a lot of the information that I was sent. People are saying the Rick video. Does Rick cover anything that we didn't already cover? And I think a lot of Acid-Cross's stuff was also just exotic stuff, right? Oh, he has separate videos. Okay, let's watch the Acid-Cross video. I didn't realize he had just a straight up review one. Here we go. I really just want like his review.
We got to play it. We got to play the final shape a little bit early. Now understand, today's video is not going to be containing really any spoilers. We are going to be showing a lot of the exotics because during the 2 days that we got to play the final shape, we pretty much play with every single exotic. That includes the Still Hunt exotic sniper rifle with golden gun, which, by the way, just to give you a small little tip there, it does synergize with Celestial. Yes, you can get...
This man popped golden gun on a sniper and then used it on a thrall.
One single golden gun.
I love you,
shot
Cross.
off with
Holy.
it. Quite amazing. Microcosm, we got to play with that as well. That's the exotic trace rifle, and it's a kinetic trace rifle. And we got the mess with Khostov, Red Death, and pretty much every exotic.
Okay, we're gonna skip some of this.
No, we were originally going to be getting.
I literally just want the review.
Stasis were things that were pitched very early on and initially. Prismatic, though, not only was it not revealed to us in the Vidoc last year, but it is doing something that Bungie has never done before. System, but he was still committed to one elemental. Transcendence is essentially this bar underneath your super really blow up. The second day we were there, we got access to exotic class items. That's the big selling point for Prismatic, is with exotic class items, you now have the, because of how much variety is, it's going to take us a long time to really just narrow down and like damage with that. Like essentially I ran into a situation with that particular build where I was like, dude, I would say jumping around from mission to mission like that. We didn't get to play a bunch, but I think we also got to play a little bit of mission 7. But one was like the mission we played the most of. And I honestly was kind of like kept my blinders on because I didn't want to know too much going into it, because nothing jars me more than like jumping around in a campaign and things get kind of fragmented. So I like to kind of experience things in its chronology.
I'm starting to wonder, maybe Destin played something else, or like he had his own thing. But Acid-Cross is not the first person I've heard say this sort of thing. I'm starting to wonder if Destin was maybe mistaken and he didn't play 6 missions. I could be totally wrong. I don't know. But Destin is literally the only person I have heard say that he played the first 6 missions. Everyone else was, I think Dado said this too. Like, oh yeah, we skipped around a little bit. We played a little bit of a few missions. And I just... Why would Destin be the one person on Earth that gets to play 6 missions? You know what I mean?
Logical order, because that's the best way to experience it. But I asked questions in that interview, and those questions included, are we going to learn more about the 3 factions, the factions that make up the Witness, right? What was the Witness's life like before the Witness?
No, I read Destin's, the first part of Destin's article. I read it. And he says that he played up to mission 7. Like, he did not play mission 7, but he played up to it. But literally every other person has been like, yeah, we skipped around a little bit.
He answered. Now, one question we did ask, and this was...
I don't know. I'm not going to sit here, like, obviously he played and I didn't. Like, I have no fucking idea. I just find it weird that he's the only person I've seen so far that was like, yeah, I played 75% of the campaign.
Right on the spot was about the red subclass. I asked, was the red subclass ever going to be a thing? And essentially what I asked was, are we going to get that 3rd subclass? I would assume it will be paracausal, considering our other subclasses, but things are going to change, right? Obviously, after we defeat the Witness, how is that going to play a role? Why would we even need a 3rd subclass? That wasn't really answered on whether or not we're going to get a 3rd subclass. What was answered was that the red subclass that we covered last year was not real. I don't know what that was. They just said that there is no no red subclass.
I've never felt so vindicated in my entire life. Half of you guys have no idea why I'm happy. I fought on Twitter over this shit. I didn't guess shit, dog. I didn't guess shit. I could make this in 20 minutes on After Effects. I knew the entire fucking time. Bozos.
Being worked on.
I tried to tell you guys. I literally tried to tell everyone. I went on rants on Twitter. I think I made a video about it.
A new subclass is not being worked on, or that we will not get the third.
About it being fake, to be clear.
Said from that screenshot that so many of us ran with last year on the.
Guess who didn't run with it? This guy.
Red subclass, that is in fact not real. So yeah, just wanted to bring some clarification on that. They answered that for us though. Anyways, as far as like the final shape goes, and the pill parts, this is an area that's gonna be unlike any area we have had. And the reason why I bring that up is
I got so much hate. I got an unbelievable amount of hate on Twitter for that. Okay? If you're a hater, I told you so. If you're not a hater, hey, if you believed in the falseness of the red subclass all the time, you're a real one.
The vibe of it is just creepier. And it's not necessarily like day and night cycle. I'm not going to get into like mechanics or whatever, but there are points when playing on the Pale Heart where, you know, things are clear and you can see the sky and it'll go from that.
His select key is alt. That's really interesting.
Right in front of you. Like that's and it almost reminds me like the dynamic weather system they included in Europa. It's similar to that, except for this is just like more daunting. You know, it's not just
I love this. This is really cool.
It's like no, you're literally being enveloped by what you would equate to be darkness, and that plays into it mechanically. But that's kind of the experience on the Pale Heart. You'll go from this garden atmosphere to some of the most beautiful areas, and then you'll step off into what feels like hell. And I love that you can have both of those type of biomes.
Yeah, if you select times 6, that's interesting.
Now I did not get to
because it goes to
the entire destination.
No, they said that. They said that
within the mission structure.
That was in the patch notes. Because right now it goes up to 4. I think they said it would go up to 6. I believe that was in the patch notes.
And then we got to play one of the game modes on the Pale Heart, which is really cool. But within that new activity is when I got to really experience, you know, that effect where suddenly clear skies, you see your enemies all around you, and the next thing you know it, everything around you.
Oh, that's cool.
What's happening in front of you, and it feels like you're being wrapped in darkness. So that was really cool. Now,
that's sick.
The dread. We said in the past that I would say the most annoying enemy type to face inside of Destiny is probably the Scorn. The Scorn, man, the way they move, the fact that some of them just go in complete immunity by just like disappearing, then reappearing, and then they could just kill you from behind. Or the fact they have this like
do you think he waxes his eyebrows? They look really good.
Somehow block literally everything.
I've got awful eyebrows.
The dread, or equally, if not more annoying. Subjugators, they're real, man. They're like on the level of tormentors. Their presence is known. They're big. They literally take up the battlefield. Originally, when we were first shown the subjugators, we thought they were just going to be like, you know, like the side little ad that comes in and buffs up.
I think they've made them significantly bigger too.
They are as potent as a tormentor, especially considering they can lean in on Strand and lean in on Stasis. As far as the other dread enemies, the ones like the flying bats, yes, they have.
I'm pretty sure they made them bigger.
Essentially, like almost have like the suppression effect on you, which can really, really mess you up. The guys that got run around with that's got like the double blades, and then when you kill them, they have like the worm thing come out of them that can explode. They're also really annoying. And understand, like a lot of the gameplay that we're going against them at, it's like at level stuff. Maybe we're a little bit under, but at level stuff. These enemy types are annoying even at level. You can imagine how annoying they will be on GMs. Like Grandmaster.
Does he mean annoying?
Against the dread, it's going to be awful, and I'm here for it, man. I'm looking very much forward to facing those enemy types on the harder difficulties, especially like the legendary campaign.
I don't know if annoying is the word I'd use for that, but I'm curious.
We did get to go against some of those enemies in the legendary campaign,
like daunting,
and that was a lot of fun. But in terms of like the most annoying enemy types to go against, I think they are now first place for me. Used to be
annoying, just makes me feel bad. I don't like that he's using that word.
and we're like right there neck and
Because
neck.
he's like, I feel like annoying has a very negative connotation to it, right? I don't know.
Red are at the top for me. Again, I really want to talk about some of the boss encounters we had. And I've got to go back through and check the notes and see what we could talk about this week. And I think maybe at some point this week, we may have an entire video that's like, all right, listen, if you don't mind spoilers, you know, here's some more stuff, right? But some of the boss encounters, man, are incredible, especially when dealing with this new enemy type. But I love the nomenclature.
I'm surprised Bungie is letting them talk about anything that could be considered a spoiler like that.
And that's essentially what they are. They're weaving strand. And so it's really cool that they dip into those names for all of those. And now that we know the Witness is literally using the light to create the dread, really cool little lore detail on their creation and of course why it is they're so annoying. Now, as far as other abilities we did get to use the new aspects. We also got to use the new supers. Now, we're going to be doing deep dives on everything throughout this week, but if you've seen the new supers, so for the Titan, you've got the axe that you throw one at a time. You throw 3 of them in total, and then you can pick up those 3 axes. Now, your teammates can pick up those axes too. And inside of PvP, we went up against an entire team of Titans, and dude, once they got those supers going, they were so hard to beat, because not only were they using the supers to kill us, then they had 3 axes they can come pick up individually and run around and either kill us with the light melee attack or just outright just throw the axe at us and kill us. And so we were literally getting killed on spawn by these Titans. The Titan super is crazy.
I'm totally the guy that like this. I'd be teabagging.
But because of its
so if you see me in someone's footage, I'd be teabagging them.
Beyond the super itself, right? Now, I did use the aspect, the unbreakable aspect, where you charge your grenade and then you do like the explosion. It's all right. I wasn't that blown away by it. I mean, it's okay. I think we need to mess around with it a bit more. We'll go back to the footage and look at it a bit more. I want to say there was one moment I did use Ursa Furiosa, and again, I know this is a game dev build, so things are subject to change, but for the most part,
man's using Cerberus. Oh no, skill up, bro. Oh god.
So things like Cerberus and Colony, I got to play with those exotics that got their buffs, and yes, we'll be talking about that more this week. Now, other aspects we got to play with. We got to play with the Solar Soul aspect on Warlock. That was really good. I enjoyed it. The super itself was also really good.
Yeah.
I felt like I was running around with like a super.
I'm telling you, this is going to be fucking believable. Unfucking believable. In fucking believable. It's also going to be in fucking believable.
Obviously, many people think of Sunsinger as the self-res warlock, and that's what a lot of people want. You're not getting that here. What you're getting is a number of abilities that are constantly up for you, and so you can just go there and just start, laying waste to an entire team or group of enemies. It has crazy tracking, especially the actual grenade effect, but you synergize it with your melee. So just think of it as all of your abilities having infinite uptime, and you're just literally emitting everything left and right. And it was funny because
this subclass is going to be so fucking good.
So I would go from Transcendence, using Transcendence, buffing all my abilities, spitting everything out left and right, ability uptime at full max. Then right afterward, I would then jump to my super, which then contribute back to my Transcendence there. You see the
look how fast this Transcendence is charging. What the fuck?
First, and then Transcendence second to contribute to the super. And so there's a lot of things here that is going to involve you.
Whoa! That like shot. Look at that. What?
I would then jump to my super, which then contribute back to my Transcendence there. You see the loop here, guys, or you can go the other way. You could do, super first.
Watch the bar here, not here. When it switches scenes here.
And so there's a lot of things here that is going to involve you having very high uptime with your abilities, and that was what
they said. We unlocked the new subclass almost immediately.
Super, I had very high uptime. We also used it in PvP, and it was pretty nice in PvP. Now for Hunter has the new Ascension aspect where you troll the staff above your head. Okay, this is really good. I think a lot of people are discounting it.
Is he using deterministic chaos?
But we also used it with other things. Like I used it with Gerfalcons, and so every time, because of the Gerfalcon change, every time we got an ability kill, we would do it with Gerfalcons and Stylus Executioner. We would also go invisible, come out invisible, give a volatile rounds to avoid weapons. It was really nice. I really like that ability. Now, as far as the super goes, remember, you throw the knife, you teleport to it, you come out of it, and you're doing it looks like the same super animation from back in D1 when you could just do spin to win on yourself and kill everything in like AoE. I would argue and say 3 to 4 times larger than the D1 version of this. It's so large.
Oh, wow.
When you throw that knife anywhere remotely close to an enemy, when you're coming out of it, it's so instant. You're just gonna kill whatever it is. I didn't necessarily do PvP gameplay of this, but I got to see or go up against hunters rocking this, and you just could not escape that ability. As far as PvE, I don't necessarily know if I'm going to use this super.
I think Red Dead's going to be insane in
more
PvP.
At PvP for myself. But those were those new supers and aspects. So guys, that's pretty much it. I know this is a very general video, and so I mainly wanted to put this together and put this out as kind of like a warning, because past this point, we're going to be doing deep dives on everything. We have a number of things lined up. From exotic reviews for all the exotic armor pieces, the exotic weapons, the new supers, the new aspects, the complete look at exactly what you're looking at in your prismatic kits. All of these things are going to be rolling out throughout this week. If you do not want to see any of those things, I would honestly advise just not looking at anyone's YouTube channel, because it's not just going to be me making this content. There are a number of other content creators there that are also going to be posting up this content. So look away, but I hope you're okay with this video today being just more of a general overview. So far, I've been really impressed with what we got to see in the final shape. I'm excited about this expansion. I think it's going to be one of the best expansions. And, you know, I'm not getting into cutscenes or into narrative, but let me just say, narratively, there is a darker undertone than what we've experienced in the past. And I love that Bungie has leaned into that more. And let me also just say, Keith kills it as the father. But that's it. So I'm going to say narratively, if we put out anything else that involves the narrative or any other missions, which we shouldn't be able to do anything other than mission 1. But if we put out anything else, I will honestly blur out the thumbnail. I'll just slap it.
I'm happy for all of them. I'm really happy for everyone who got invited. That's sick. Sick. Okay. Holy. Am I missing any like big info? I think we've pretty much covered everything. I think we have pretty much covered absolutely everything. No, I am really happy for him. I am. So, okay. Alrighty, so I think that's gonna be it for today. We might have more info tomorrow. I have to do so much Onslaught because I need some shiny weapons. So, definitely gonna be doing some Onslaught, but I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go eat. If you are not subscribed, make sure to subscribe. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, and we're about to go dummy with it, okay? So, fucking get ready. All right, everyone. Thank you for hanging out. I love your faces. Go show all these creators and article writers and reviewers and journalists, whatever you want to say. Everyone who got invited or did stuff, I posted all the links in chat. Please go show them all love and give them some views and stuff. This is going to be huge for all their channels. So fuck yeah. Thank you all. Have a fantastic night. I love your face. And I'll see you very soon. Peace out, everyone.